Chapter 129. This time, Tang Zheng did not turn around. He reached behind him to grab whatever it was. No matter what he grabbed, he would not let it go. Amazed face, / amazed face, / he grabbed it. He grabbed the backpack on his back, and the trembling sensation came from inside. F***ck, so it's you. Tang Zheng could not help but curse. His heart was relieved. He quickly took off the bag and took out the culprit. Black sword. It was the treasure he took from the black-clothed man. The black-clothed man died, so the black sword became an ownerless item. He effortlessly dripped his blood on it. Now, he was the new owner of the black sword. He had studied the black sword before. Although it was not as mysterious as the 9 revolving alchemy furnace, it was exceptionally sharp. When he injected his qi, the black sword would emit light. A faint layer of black light would wrap around the sword, giving it a mysterious feeling. However, the black sword did not have the black monarch snake soul, so its power was not as strong as before. But Tang Zheng did not dislike it. After all, it was an offensive treasure. In battle it could be used to protect his life. Why are you trembling? Tang Zheng fiercely slapped the black sword, almost scaring him to death. If he were to be scared to death by his own magical weapon, then he would become a laughingstock. 10. The black sword calmed down after being slapped by its owner. Tang Zheng held it in his hand. If he really encountered any ghosts, he would slash at them. Tang Zheng opened a freezer. The cold air hit his face. Inside the freezer was an old man's corpse. He shook his head and pushed it in again. Tang Zheng continued to open several freezers. If it was not an old man, then it was completely unrecognizable. He opened another one. Hey, this time it was a young man. Tian Chanzi, look, how is this? Tang Zheng excitedly shouted. Little brat, you are deliberately angering me. This is a female corpse. Do you want me to become a woman? Tian Chanzi said angrily. Tang Zheng laughed. A woman is not bad. Nowadays, there are so many men who specially go for surgery to become a woman. This is the original package. There is no need for surgery. Moreover, it is quite beautiful. You've lived for thousands of years, but you've never experienced the feeling of being a woman. Now that you have the chance, don't miss it. Brat, if you dare to speak again, be careful that I will beat you up when I am reborn. All right, I won't say any more. Let's keep looking. Tang Zheng started to search again, but it seemed that not many people had died in this hospital. After looking around, he did not find a suitable one. Tian Chanzi, don't be so picky. Just pick one. Choose my ass. If I don't find the right one, I will never move. I will always stay in your head. Also, the master of the man in black may come looking for you. I want to see how you deal with him by yourself. Tian Chanzi was exasperated. Tang Zheng had no choice but to promise to go to other hospitals. In the end, he spent a few hours and went to several hospitals in the city, but he still couldn't find the one that satisfied Tian Chanzi. Tang Zheng sat down on a chair and looked at the full freezer, saying, "You've finished looking, but you're not satisfied with any of them. How are you going to find another one? The physical fitness of modern people is too weak. Even if I attach my soul to it, the body can't take it. Instead, it will damage my soul. The loss outweighs the gain. I am not a casual person. I will not compromise," Tian Chanzi said sternly. "Then we can only come back after a while to see if there are any new deaths." Tang Zheng was helpless. Bas! Suddenly, the black sword in his hand shook again. It hadn't stopped for a single moment tonight. Tang Zheng felt that it must be suffering from a fever. Why was it shaking? Whoosh! A cold wind blew. Tang Zheng's whole body shivered. I've been infected by the black sword. Why am I shaking? In these few hours, he had seen many different morgues. He didn't see a single ghost, so he became bolder. Was there an electric fan here? What was with this cold wind? He looked around. Whoosh! Every hair on his body stood on end. In the blink of an eye, the originally dead silent morgue had undergone earth-shattering changes. It was as lively as a market, with countless ghosts moving about. Damn! Tang Zheng was stunned. What was going on? How come there were so many ghosts in the blink of an eye? Heh, brat, are you afraid? Heaven Monk appeared again, taking pleasure in his misfortune. Tian Chanzi, what's going on? Look at the time. Tang Zheng hurriedly took out his phone. It was just past midnight. At midnight, the ghost gate opens. These ghosts are going to enter the ghost realm. Tian Chanzi proudly explained. Between heaven and earth, there is not only the human world. There is also the ghost realm. It is the place where ghosts go after people die. Buzz buzz. Tang Zheng did not have time to sigh with emotion as the black sword began to tremble non-stop, as if it was very excited. Tang Zheng did not know what was going on, but at this moment, a cold wind blew and the ghosts scattered in all directions, revealing a large empty space. A ghost with a green face and fangs grabbed another ghost, opened its mouth, and bit off the ghost's head. It ate with relish. The other ghosts acted as if they had met their nemesis and ran far away. But there was only so much space, so how could they hide? While Tang Zheng was still in a daze, the green-faced and fanged ghost grabbed another ghost and began to eat heartily. Yes, it was like eating the most delicious meal. There was a satisfied expression on its ferocious face. Tian Chanzi, this ghost seems different. Of course it is different. This is no ordinary ghost. It is an evil spirit. This person must have been an evil person when he was alive. After death, he became an evil spirit and devoured other ghosts to strengthen himself. Tian Chanzi was not surprised. These guys can become very strong if they devour enough ghosts. However, this kind of dirty thing is not good enough. Obviously, Tian Chanzi looked down on evil spirits. The evil spirit walked around and ate another 3 ghosts. Then it came to Tang Zheng. The evil spirit's body grew bigger and was a head taller than Tang Zheng. At this moment, facing the sitting Tang Zheng, it felt like it was looking down on him. Tang Zheng raised his head and stared at the evil spirit. He curled his lips and said, "So ugly. You can see me?" The evil spirit seemed to be very surprised. It looked fiercely at Tang Zheng. It had already stayed here for several days and no one had ever seen it. How could it not be surprised that a human could see it? Evil spirits did not have high intelligence. They only kept many of their habits from when they were alive. Therefore, most of them only had their ferocity and cruelty left. Tang Zheng nodded and said bluntly, "You're too ugly. Don't get so close. It's disgusting." Roar. The evil spirit let out a roar. Kill. It charged directly at Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng did not think that he would be implicated. These ghosts were weak, but that did not mean that he could not do anything. Wang wang. The black sword excitedly trembled, as if it was summoning its master to fight. Tang Zheng did not hesitate. He slashed out with his sword. A black light flashed and half of the evil spirit's shoulder was cut off. It turned into wisps of black gas and entered the black sword. Brat, I'll give you some pointers. This black sword likes yin energy. Kill this evil spirit and use it to nourish the black sword. It can increase the black sword's power. Why didn't you say so earlier? Tang Zheng really wanted to roll his eyes. Hee, you wanted to use a female corpse to fool me. Why should I tell you? Tian Chanzi said with an evil smile. This old man held grudges. After the black sword absorbed the evil spirit's yin energy, it trembled even more violently. It was as if it had taken a stimulant, making Tang Zheng speechless. The evil spirit angrily glared at Tang Zheng. It roared in a low voice. It was not afraid at all. It charged at Tang Zheng again and used its only hand to slap him. Shwa! Another slash. He did not use an exquisite sword technique like the flying celestial sword technique. He directly chopped off the evil spirit's other arm. The black sword happily absorbed the yin energy, just like how the evil spirit ate the other ghosts. Foodie. Tang Zheng unhappily gave it these 2 words. The evil spirit attacked again. This time, it opened its bloody mouth to bite. Is this evil spirit an idiot? It only knows how to attack. It doesn't even know how to dodge. Tang Zheng curled his lips and said with disdain. It really did not have any skill. I said that the evil spirit's intelligence is not high. It only retains its cruel nature from when it was alive. It doesn't even have the instinct to be afraid. That's why it only knows how to attack until it disappears. Tian Chanzi explained. Since it was an evil person when it was alive and an evil spirit after it died, this kind of evil thing cannot be left in this world. I'll make it disappear. Tang Zheng stood up straight. He held the black sword with one hand. Seeing that the evil spirit was already in front of him, he let out a low shout. The black sword blazed with a black light. Puchi! From top to bottom, the black sword directly chopped down on the evil spirit's head. It then chopped down all the way to the bottom. The evil spirit was split into two. It quickly turned into a ball of black energy. The black sword quickly absorbed it. It was like a whirlpool. Not a single trace of black energy escaped. Looks like there's only one evil spirit here. Otherwise, I wouldn't mind killing another one to give the black sword some nourishment. Tang Zheng looked around. All the ghosts were cowering and hiding in the corners. They seemed to think that he was an evil spirit. Especially that black sword. It could absorb Yin energy. Weren't they formed from Yin energy? Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you. Tang Zheng waved at them. It seemed that he wanted to find one or two to chat with. After all, this kind of experience was too special. It was rare for ordinary people to have this kind of experience. However, this idea was immediately ridiculed by Tian Chanzi. Ghosts were muddle-headed. They did not remember many things from their lives. Chatting with them was like playing the lute to a cow. Tang Zheng curled his lips. He could not help but regretfully dismiss this idea. However, the black sword was still very excited. It pointed the tip of its sword at the ghosts. It seemed to be saying, "Master, let me eat them." Tang Zheng sensed its intention. He impatiently patted the body of the sword. Be honest. These ghosts are just ordinary ghosts. They're just like ordinary people. They're not evil spirits. What's the point of killing them? If you want to absorb Yin energy, I'll find you another evil spirit next time. The black sword had no choice but to submit to its master's despotic power. It did not dare to act rashly and quieted down. Tang Zheng looked around. He felt that there was no need to stay any longer. Just as he was about to leave, a cold wind suddenly blew. A loud roar sounded. Stop! Who's there? Chapter 130. This loud roar stopped Tang Zheng from taking a step forward. A gust of cold wind came from behind Tang Zheng, like the roar of the cold wind in a snowstorm. In a spurt of energy, it reached his back. Please add. Shua. His hair stood on end, his whole body shivered. Tang Zheng did not even think, he slashed out with his sword. In this environment, there was no need to worry about accidentally injuring others. The strong Yin Qi showed that the other party was not a living person. More importantly, this Yin Qi was much stronger than the evil spirit from before. He did not dare to be careless, so he made the first move at the same time. His body jumped to the side and turned around, immediately seeing the situation in front of him. Two guys with spears were staring at him, roaring. Who are you? You dare to attack the ghost envoys? Do you not want to live anymore? Tang Zheng carefully looked at the two. Their appearance was not much different from a human, but they were obviously not living people. Their whole body emitted a strong Yin Qi. Their faces were pale and lifeless. Ghost envoys. Tang Zheng frowned as he stared at the other party. These two were actually ghost envoys. But he did not care who they were. He directly asked, "Why did you sneak attack me just now? You killed a ghost. Of course we ghost envoys want to capture you and punish you." Are you saying that I killed that evil spirit? He killed other ghosts, and he also attacked me. Of course I want to get rid of him. Evil spirit. The other party looked at each other. Where did this evil spirit come from? There are a few missing ghosts here. Clearly you killed them, daring to kill ghosts. You are going against the ghost realm. Do you know your crime? Tang Zheng could not help but roll his eyes. How could these two ghost envoys be so indignant? He pointed to the other ghosts and said, "Ask them, did the evil spirit eat them or did I kill them?" When the other ghosts saw the ghost envoys, they instinctively trembled. Their originally muddled state became even more chaotic. How could they say anything? Since you do not know your crime, then we will take you to the ghost realm to punish you. The two ghost envoys said fiercely. Little brat, don't let them take you to the ghost realm. Then you will die. Tian Chanzi reminded. Of course I know. These two messengers' cultivation levels are not high, but they are quite arrogant. Tang Zheng could already see that his opponent was only a 5th-grade Qi refining cultivator, and the two weapons in his hands were definitely not magic artifacts. Heh, even ghost messengers are so shabby. I really didn't expect that. Tang Zheng thought of those myths and legends about how powerful ghost messengers were. It was all complete nonsense. What he didn't know was that messengers were extremely powerful to normal people, but to a cultivator like him, they were nothing special. Reapers are the lowest-level warriors in the world of spirits and souls, just like the lowest-level civil servants in your country. How powerful can they be? He's just using his big name to scare the layman. Tian Chanzi explained. Tang Zheng was suddenly enlightened. So these two were basic-level civil servants. They were very similar to basic-level civil servants. Seeing that Tang Zheng did not say a word, the ghost messengers thought that they had intimidated the other party. They swaggered towards him, the chains in their hands flying towards him, determined to catch him in one hit. Seeing the black chains flying towards him, Tang Zheng came back to his senses. Why is this ghost messenger so unreasonable? Since it is like this, then I will let you know my power. Tang Zheng did not retreat or avoid. Instead he met the ghost messengers head-on. His black sword let out a buzzing sound as it pierced forward. Heaven flying immortal. Dang! The chains were cut in half. The tip of the sword almost brushed past the ghost messenger's nose. The ghost messengers were shocked and retreated, roaring, "You dare attack a ghost messengers, kill without mercy." The two spears landed heavily on the ground and flew up at the same time. One in front and one behind. They pierced towards Tang Zheng. The moves were not amazing, but the two of them had a tacit understanding. The front and back of the spears overlapped, and the power was not bad. Tang Zheng did not underestimate the other party. His body moved quickly, the heaven-flying immortal was continuous, stirring up the yin qi between heaven and earth. Suddenly the yin qi brought about a violent airflow, messing up the spear in front. The spear head tilted and flew past Tang Zheng's body, while the black sword directly met the spear behind. Bang! The tip of the sword and the spear collided, like a needle against an awl. The tip of the spear bent and directly bounced the ghost messengers away. Tang Zheng's thunderous attack was clean and neat, instantly defeating one of the ghost messengers. The other ghost messengers was shocked and looked at him in disbelief. "You are a cultivator?" Tang Zheng snorted and did not answer. He flicked the tip of his sword, and the ownerless spear flew up, while the black sword rose from below. Gotcha! The spear was broken into two. The other ghost messengers saw that the situation was not good. He shook his spear and swept it towards Tang Zheng's head. Although the spear was not a magic weapon, it was still in the hands of a fifth-grade refining qi messengers. Its power was not to be underestimated. Tang Zheng's black sword turned around, and firmly blocked the spear. The black sword followed the spear's shaft and flew towards the ghost messengers, creating sparks. Seeing the black sword approaching, the ghost messenger's face turned pale with fright. They hurriedly retreated, but how could Tang Zheng give them the chance? His large hand directly grabbed the spear shaft, making them unable to move. If the ghost messengers did not let go, then they would definitely be cut by the black sword. Looking at the flickering black sword, they knew that the result would not be good. The ghost messengers made a prompt decision. They let go of the spear and somersaulted in the air, barely dodging the sword. Tang Zheng seized the opportunity to grab the spear in his hand and fiercely slammed it down. Bang! The floor cracked. Stone fragments swirled in the air. The muffled sound made the two ghost messengers' heart tremble, their faces becoming increasingly ashen. The two ghost messengers did not have any weapons, so they were not Tang Zheng's opponent. They trembled with fear. "Who are you in the end? You dare to oppose my ghost realm?" Tang Zheng coldly snorted. "When did I ever want to oppose the ghost realm? It was clearly you who indiscriminately slandered me for killing the ghosts. In fact, all of this was done by that damned evil spirit. If you had arrived earlier, you would have seen me behead the evil spirit and protect these ghosts. Therefore, you inverted black and white, used the name of the ghost realm to threaten me, and even wanted to kill me. Tell me, what is the reason for all of this?" Tang Zheng's voice was powerful and resonant. The two ghost messengers could not help but shrink their necks. However, the two did not compromise. Instead, they looked at each other, as if they were trying to encourage each other. "No matter what you say, you must come with us to the ghost realm to explain this matter clearly." "Haha, you want to take me to the ghost realm? Do you have the ability to do so?" Tang Zheng jokingly laughed. The two ghost messengers showed an embarrassed expression and said, "You know you have made a big mistake, yet you still dare to laugh. Humph, it will be too late to cry when the time comes. You want to scare me with the name of the ghost realm? In your dreams." Tang Zheng was not afraid of them. Anyway, he had the initiative. What to do, he would have the final say. You are a cultivator. What sect are you from? Seeing that Tang Zheng was not listening to them, the other party changed the question. No sect. You dare to play with us. You don't want to tell the truth, right? Well, I will go get help. Let's see if you will tell the truth. One of the ghost messengers took out a token and waved it. A black light flashed, and a door appeared. The ghost messengers lifted their legs and walked into the door. Boy, that is the ghost gate. Quickly stop him. When he returns to the ghost realm, you won't be able to stop him. Then you will really make a big mistake. Tian Chanzi anxiously shouted. Whoosh! Tang Zheng rushed over like a gust of wind, but the other ghost messengers rushed towards him. It was obvious that they were trying to buy time for their companion. Tang Zheng was very anxious. Seeing that the ghost messengers were about to enter the ghost gate, he took a deep breath and threw the black sword. A sharp sound broke through the air, and the black sword flew towards the ghost messengers. The ghost messengers must have felt the killing intent behind them. They subconsciously turned their heads and saw that the black sword was already in front of them. It was too late to escape. The black sword pierced through their chest. They fell to the ground in front of the ghost gate. They widened their eyes in disbelief. The ghost messengers who were always high and mighty died just like that. They died in the hands of a human. The token fell to the ground, and the ghost gate disappeared with a flash of black light. Tang Zheng breathed a sigh of relief. Since there was no report, this matter could be controlled. Moreover, from the moment he threw the sword, he knew that this matter could not be settled peacefully. The ghost messengers believed that he was the one who killed the ghost, so he could not deny it. He might as well go all the way and kill the ghost messengers. Anyway, killing one was killing, and killing two was also killing. At this moment, his body was emitting a strong killing intent. The ghost messengers saw it and hurriedly retreated. The death of their companion gave them a huge shock. This person was not afraid of the ghost messengers at all. If they stayed, they would die. They wanted to escape, but there was nowhere to go. Boy, your idea is right. The ghost realm is very powerful, and you are insignificant in front of them. You are not even a small shrimp. Therefore, killing the ghost messengers without letting them know is the best thing for you. Moreover, they were wrong before, so they deserve to die. Tian Chanzi comforted. He was worried that Tang Zheng would have a mental barrier. Tian Chanzi, don't worry. I am not a stubborn and inflexible person. Since they wanted to kill me before, of course I will not sit still and wait for death. Politeness demands reciprocity. Killing them is also a matter of course. Haha, you are a promising child. Tang Zheng walked step by step towards the ghost messengers. The ghost messengers retreated again and again until they were in the corner, retreating into the group of ghosts. Don't kill me. If you kill me, you will become an enemy of the ghost realm. You will die without a burial. The ghost messengers threatened. Hee, you are about to die and you still dare to threaten me. You are amazing. Tang Zheng jokingly mocked. The ghost messengers rolled his eyes and suddenly gave in. No, I will explain to the superiors that this matter has nothing to do with you. Please let me go. Tang Zheng's mind moved, and there was a trace of hesitation. The ghost messengers sharply captured this. With both hands, they grabbed the ghosts beside them and threw them at Tang Zheng, while they flew towards the token on the ground. Tang Zheng immediately saw through the ghost messenger's trick. The ghost messengers wanted to take advantage of the moment when he was distracted to grab the token, open the ghost gate, and return to the ghost realm. At that time, everything would be too late. Two ghosts flew towards Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng hurriedly dodged. He saw that the ghost messengers had already grabbed the token and was about to open the ghost gate. Tang Zheng did not dare to hesitate. He threw out the spear that he had been holding in his hand. Poof! The spear penetrated the ghost messenger's body and firmly fixed him on the ground. Chapter 131. The messenger was nailed to the floor. After struggling for a while, he stopped moving. The other ghosts were so scared that they ran away and hid far away. Tang Zheng sighed in relief. After dealing with these two messengers, no one would know about what happened tonight and he would be safe. Picking up the command medallion on the ground, it was very heavy and he did not know what material it was made of. There was a small seal script on it and Tang Zhang could barely make out the word messenger. It seems like this was the messenger's identity medallion. Tang Zhang put it in his pocket and went to the other messenger, preparing to put away the black sword. The black sword had turned into a big hole in the messenger's chest. Wisps of black gas were emitted from the messenger's body and were absorbed by the black sword. Tang Zhang looked at this scene in amazement. He held the black sword and it let out a buzzing sound. Tang Zhang immediately understood its intention. Messengers were formed by yin qi. The yin qi was denser than that of evil spirits. However, it was quite different from pure yin qi. It contained a lot of impurities and ferocity. It was the black sword's favorite. Okay, I'll let you have a good meal and destroy the corpse. The black sword heard this and trembled even more. After receiving its master's permission, it became a lot bolder. A sword chime sounded and the speed of absorbing yin qi suddenly increased. A whirlpool appeared on the surface of the sword. Whoosh, whoosh. The messenger instantly turned into wisps of black gas and was absorbed into the sword. With a flash of black light, the black sword seemed to become even darker. It was like ink and had a faint luster. Then it turned to the other messenger and did the same thing. The messenger became a delicious snack for the black sword. Even the two spears were swallowed by the black sword. Tang Zhang clicked his tongue in wonder. This black sword was truly desperate. Tian Chanzi, these ghosts won't leak my matter, right? Tang Zhang looked at the ghosts hiding in the distance and asked suspiciously. Tian Chanzi was full of confidence. Of course not. Let's leave quickly. Otherwise, if we stay too long, the messengers will not return to the ghost realm and there will be pursuers. Tang Zhang tidied up and confirmed that he did not leave behind any clues. Then, he dashed out of the morgue. Looking at the starry sky, he let out a long sigh. This time, it was a dangerous trip, but he also gained something. At least he learned something about the world of spirits and souls. Tian Chanzi, we've messed up this time. The world of spirits and souls will definitely investigate thoroughly. It's better not to go to places like the morgue, Tang Zhang said regretfully. Sigh, looks like I'll have to stay in your head for a while. Anyway, I think these carriers are too poor. Let's take our time to find them. Tian Chanzi also knew the seriousness of the matter, so he didn't force it. However, after absorbing so much yin qi, I can clearly feel some changes. What other places are rich in yin qi and have evil spirits? I wanted to absorb enough yin qi so that it can quickly increase its strength. In the future, when I face that black-clothed man's master, I will have more ability to protect myself. Both of them agreed with his point of view. After a moment of silence, they said in unison, Graveyard. It's best if it's an old graveyard, such as a place like the unmarked common graves. There are very few new ghosts in this kind of place. Reapers won't go to this kind of place, but it's easy to breed evil spirits. This is your chance, Tian Chanzi added. Tang Zheng's eyes lit up. The black sword seemed to have sensed something and excitedly buzzed and vibrated. I know that there's unmarked common graves outside the city. It's said that it's an ancient battlefield. Many people died there. Once, a construction company took a fancy to that piece of land. As soon as the ground was broken, there were ghosts. In the end, a few people died, and no one dared to go there anymore. Tang Zheng suddenly remembered this feng shui treasure land. There are definitely evil spirits in this kind of place. Prepare a little and go tomorrow night. You've caused such a big commotion tonight. It's better if you stop. Tang Zheng laughed mischievously and agreed. However, he didn't get what he wanted the next day. As soon as he arrived at school, Lu Qingmei grabbed him and asked him to accompany her to a cocktail party after school. Tang Zheng then remembered the agreement from a few days ago. He had no choice but to postpone the plan to go to the unmarked common graves. Yi Dingdang was in high spirits as both of her hands rested on the table, supporting her delicate and pretty face. When she saw Tang Zheng enter, her eyes couldn't help but light up as a raging fighting spirit ignited within her. She had been depressed for the past few days. Tang Zheng had given her a big blow, but Yi Dingdang wasn't an ordinary person. She quickly adjusted and turned the pressure into motivation. She was prepared to catch up to Tang Zheng's cultivation, and even surpass him. Tang Zheng, I want to challenge you. Yi Dingdang waved her fist and vowed. Tang Zheng couldn't help but laugh. Oh, you're that confident? Of course. Who do you think I, Yi Dingdang, am? My dream is to become the strongest martial artist in the world. How could I be defeated by you? Don't try to shake my firm belief. It's all futile. Yi Dingdang chattered. Haha, relax. I won't shake your belief. Good luck. Yi Dingdong's face flashed with suspicion. Aren't you afraid that I'll catch up to you and surpass you? Then we'll talk about it when you catch up to me. Tang Zheng's current cultivation speed was so fast that even he didn't dare to believe it. However, his confidence was also more than enough. He didn't care about Yi Dingdong's challenge at all. Seeing his fearless appearance, Yi Dingdong's eyes widened. She couldn't help but feel angry. Damn it, was there a need to play cards like this? He wasn't worried at all. However, her skills were inferior. If she were to lose her temper, it would make her seem even more useless. Thus, she said, "Do you dare to make a bet with me?" "Oh, how do you want to bet?" Tang Zheng was interested. "If I surpass you, then you have to announce to the world that Tang Zheng is not as good as Yi Dingdang." Announce to the world? I'm afraid there won't be that many people paying attention to me. Tang Zheng said with a smile. Yi Dingdang stubbornly said, "I don't care. In any case, you have to announce this to the world." "Okay, but what if you can't surpass me?" "I will definitely surpass you." "That won't do. Since it's a bet, you need to have a stake. Otherwise, if you can't surpass me and there's no stake, then wouldn't I lose a lot?" I'll marry you," Yi Dingdang said without thinking in her anger. This voice wasn't soft. In the already quiet classroom, it was like a clap of thunder. It clearly entered the ears of many people. Everyone looked over and stared in disbelief. Yi Dingdang was going to marry Tang Zheng. This was too fast. A while ago, they were still talking about fiancé. Now they were going to be promoted. Tang Zheng suddenly coughed. He was incomparably embarrassed. This Yi Dingdang really dared to say this. "Yi Dingdang, you're going to marry my boyfriend?" Feng Shishir had unknowingly walked in and heard Yi Dingdong's domineering declaration. However, she wasn't flustered and exasperated. Instead, she asked with interest. Yi Dingdang looked at Feng Shishir in astonishment. In fact, she also felt that the relationship between Feng Shishir and Tang Zheng was very subtle these past few days. Every look and action was filled with intimacy. "I'm making a bet with him. How could Yi Dingdang lose in this kind of confrontation?" Therefore, she wasn't afraid of being exposed and spoke bluntly. Feng Shishir glanced at Tang Zheng flirtatiously and said, "Then you won't have a chance." "I also feel that way." Yi Dingdang proudly raised her neck. "Because my cultivation will definitely surpass his in the future. He can only admit defeat." "Ah, you're betting on this?" Feng Shishir was shocked. It was clear that she didn't hear the first part of the conversation, and only heard Yi Dingdong's declaration. "If it's not this, then what is it?" Yi Dingdang was baffled. Feng Shishir's expression was a bit strange. She knew that Tang Zheng was a cultivator and his cultivation speed was so fast. She didn't think that Yi Dingdang had a chance of surpassing him. She couldn't help but feel a bit vexed. She leaned against Tang Zheng's ear and said, "You clearly know that you will win, so you deliberately made this bet with her, right?" Tang Zheng didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He cried out, "How would I know that she would mention this bet?" "Humph." Feng Shishir tenderly snorted, "I want to see how you will solve this problem." Tang Zheng suddenly had a bright idea. She was just momentarily interested. Who knows? Maybe she will forget about it in a few days. "I don't believe it. However, I will surpass her in the future. Since she dares to steal my boyfriend in front of me, I will defeat her." Feng Shishir was full of fighting spirit. Tang Zheng bitterly looked at her. He didn't know why her fighting spirit was also aroused. He could only secretly sigh. This situation was too chaotic. "Let me tell you a piece of good news. I am already a first-grade refining qi cultivator," Feng Shishir proudly said. "Really?" Tang Zheng stared at her. Sure enough, she was already a first-grade refining qi cultivator. It seems like Tian Chanzi's words were not false. After her transformation, her physique was really too good. "Congratulations, you are too awesome." Tang Zheng was overjoyed. He couldn't help but kiss Feng Shishir. "Wah!" Exclamations sounded from all around. It must be known that everyone was silently watching this good show. Seeing Tang Zheng kiss Feng Shishir in front of Yi Dingdang, this was too explosive. Tang Zheng also realized the problem. He quickly let go of Feng Shishir. Her face was already as red as a ripe apple. She coquettishly glared at him. This beautiful appearance made everyone's heart beat faster. They were simply envious and jealous of Tang Zheng. Even Feng Yong couldn't help but give Tang Zheng a thumbs up. Yi Dingdang also didn't think that Tang Zheng would be so bold. Seeing Feng Shishir's shy and proud expression, she fiercely glared at Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng could only pretend that he didn't see anything. Fortunately, the teacher walked in and helped Tang Zheng out of his predicament. Everyone had no choice but to reluctantly turn their heads. This scene was simply too wonderful compared to class. Tang Zheng also angrily sat down. Yi Dingdang said in a low voice, "You did it on purpose, right?" "Hi hey, I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it," Tang Zheng said in an embarrassed tone. Yi Dingdang thought of the decision she made some time ago. She suddenly felt a bit wronged. She was willing to make the act real, but he kissed Feng Shishir in front of so many people. He was too hateful. "I will definitely beat him." Yi Dingdong's thoughts suddenly changed. She decided not to think about the decision she made a while ago. A woman's heart was like a needle at the bottom of the sea. This change was so fast that it made people dumbfounded. Chapter 132. Tang Zheng looked at himself in the mirror. He was wearing a casual suit that accentuated his sturdy figure. He looked less childish and more mature. He looked exactly like a handsome guy. Translator, Atlas Studios editor. Atlas Studios. This was the result of him being dragged to the mall by Lu Qingmei after school. For tonight's ball, Lu Qingmei wanted to dress him up. Tang Zheng did not know that the ball would be so troublesome, but he could not change her mind, so he could only let her do as she pleased. Lu Qingmei's eyes flashed with a hint of surprise. This brat's dress-up really has some flavor. No wonder Feng Shishir and Yi Dingdang were fighting over him. "Miss, your boyfriend is really handsome. This dress is especially suitable for him," the sales assistant praised. "Boyfriend?" Tang Zheng opened his eyes wide and looked at Lu Qingmei strangely. He was afraid that she would get angry, but she did not comment. "It's really not bad." "Then I'll take this." Suddenly, Tang Zheng changed from inside out. Oh, other than his underwear, he changed into all his other clothes and shoes. This was the first time Tang Zheng dressed up like this. In the past, he did not have that much money to dress up. He could not help but feel a bit of novelty and looked at himself in the mirror. Hey, clothes make the man, Buddha makes the gold. This sentence was not wrong. His current temperament was very different from that of a high school student. It was very difficult to associate him with a high school student. Especially when he wore this set of clothes, he would definitely be regarded as a successful young talent by others. "Bill." Lu Qingmei took out her credit card and did not hesitate. "Teacher Lu, this set of clothes is very expensive." Tang Zheng secretly glanced at the price tag and was secretly speechless. She did not even blink when it was a few thousand yuan worth of clothes. Tang Zheng used to only wear clothes that were a few dozen or 100 yuan. He had never worn such high-quality clothes before. Even if he had a few 100,000 yuan in savings, he did not think about spending money in this area. Lu Qingmei coldly glanced at him. "I'm the one paying the bill, not you. What are you afraid of?" Tang Zheng simply shut up and didn't say anything. He could only carry the clothes he had changed out of and return to the minicar. "Be alert later. Don't give yourself away," Lu Qingmei instructed as she drove. "What do you mean?" "Today, you will pretend to be my boyfriend and accompany me to the ball. Later, those people won't be as simple as that salesperson. They are all shrewd people. If you don't pay attention, they will see through you," Lu Qingmei said. Pretend to be her boyfriend? Tang Zheng was shocked. He never thought that he would be asked to be her fake boyfriend. Am I really that much like a firefighter? Not only Yi Dingdang, but now even Lu Qingmei was involved. He felt the need to make things clear. "Teacher Lu, I am only your student. Moreover, with such a big gap between us, no one would believe that I am your boyfriend." She raised her eyebrows and glared at him. "Are you saying that I am very old so we don't match?" To say that a woman was old was the same as seeking death. Tang Zheng understood this point, so he hurriedly waved his hands. "That's not what I meant. Teacher Lu is very young and is about the same age as the girls in my class. What I meant was that I am only a student, so I can't act as a boyfriend. Can't act? I don't think so. Aren't you like a fish in water between Feng Shirshir and Yi Dingdang? Aren't you enjoying life on both sides? I think you have a lot of experience. Lu Qingmei said sarcastically. Tang Zheng embarrassedly said, Teacher Lu, you can't wrongly accuse me. Hung, I don't care about your business. But tonight you must act well. Otherwise you know the consequences. Lu Qingmei threatened. Tang Zheng inwardly sighed as there was nothing he could do. Who told her to be a teacher? Who told her to have a handle on him? Then he could only continue on the path of being a fake boyfriend and walk further and further down it. The car stopped in front of a 5-star hotel. After getting off, Lu Qingmei intimately held onto Tang Zheng's arm. Tang Zheng's body couldn't help but stiffen. Relax. Don't be so stiff. It's not like anyone will eat you. Lu Qingmei warned in a low voice. Tang Zheng took a deep breath. Since he was already here, he might as well take things as they came. Tang Zheng adjusted very quickly and immediately got rid of the stiffness. He held his head high and puffed out his chest as he walked with her to the door. Qingmei, you came. A person walked out from the door with a kind tone. But when he saw this scene, his face immediately stiffened with disbelief. This person was of course Song Donghua. When he first saw Tang Zheng spend the night at Lu Qingmei's house, he was furious and prepared to deal with Tang Zheng. But he had been so busy that he didn't have the time to deal with Tang Zheng. Of course, he didn't give up on his attacks on Lu Qingmei. Instead, he became even fiercer. Lu Qingmei was annoyed beyond words, but he was like a dog skin plaster, causing her to be unable to do anything. This dance party was also invited by him. Originally, she wanted to refuse, but after Ordinary Balance City's mayor personally came forward to invite her, she couldn't refuse. This mayor was an old subordinate of Lu Qingmei's father and was someone she was familiar with. She couldn't refuse, but she also knew that Song Donghua would definitely pester her. Thus, she simply pulled Tang Zheng over to pretend to be her boyfriend and fend off this annoying fly. Speaking of which, Lu Qingmei didn't have many friends in Ordinary Balance City, let alone friends of the opposite sex. Thus, only Tang Zheng was the most suitable candidate. Lu Qingmei expressionlessly nodded her head and pulled Tang Zheng inside. Song Donghua saw the two's intimate actions and was furious. But he didn't act out. Instead, he still had a faint smile on his face as he followed them. Mayor Zhang is waiting for you over there. I'll bring you over. No need, we'll go by ourselves. Lu Qingmei refused and walked with Tang Zheng towards Ordinary Balance City's mayor, Jiang Yongda. Jiang Yongda saw the two of them and walked over to greet them from afar. Qingmei, I didn't even know that the old leader's daughter was in my district. His tone was familiar and it was clear that he was an old acquaintance. Lu Qingmei was still cold as she said, Uncle Jiang, you are busy with work and it is inconvenient for me to disturb you. Moreover, I like peace and quiet. Towards her coldness, Jiang Yongda didn't mind as he knew that her temper was like this. Even if I am busy with work, I will still push off work to meet you. You don't know how much the old leader misses you. Jiang Yongda said with a smile. Jiang Yongda was undoubtedly the center of attention as many pairs of eyes looked at him. Seeing that he was so passionate towards such a beautiful girl, they all started to guess Lu Qingmei's identity. Even Tang Zheng received some attention, but he did not feel uncomfortable. Instead, he looked at the ball with a bit of novelty. Each and every one of them was dressed in suits and leather shoes, looking like successful people. They held high wine glasses and gathered in twos and threes, whispering to each other. This gentleman is? Jiang Yongda's gaze fell on Tang Zheng's body and his face was filled with suspicion. My boyfriend Tang Zheng. Lu Qingmei hugged Tang Zheng even tighter as he could clearly feel the soul-stirring elasticity of her chest. Jiang Yongda's eyes flashed with a trace of astonishment as he inadvertently glanced at Song Donghua. Song Donghua awkwardly lowered his head, but as a government official, especially someone of Jiang Yongda's level, he naturally wouldn't easily reveal his true feelings. He passionately said, Mr. Tang, it is a pleasure to meet you. I am Jiang Yongda. As he spoke, he took the initiative to extend his hand. He wasn't clear on Tang Zheng's background, but since he was Lu Qingmei's boyfriend, he would naturally take the initiative to show his enthusiasm. Tang Zheng didn't hesitate and lightly shook hands with him. He didn't feel uncomfortable at all and didn't bow and scrape like a normal person would when meeting an official. What a joke. He was a cultivator, so how could he bow and scrape to an official? Otherwise, he would definitely be despised to death by Tian Chanzi. Lu Qingmei looked at Tang Zheng in astonishment, as his temperament was completely different from that of a student. She thought that he would be exposed, but she didn't think that he would perform so well. Even Jiang Yongda was guessing at Tang Zheng's background and thought that he was some young master. Only Song Donghua knew of Tang Zheng's identity and couldn't help but secretly despise him. Acting, let's see how you will act later. A toad will never be able to stand on the stage. Uncle Jiang, you go ahead and do what you need to do. We will go over there. Lu Qingmei knew when to stop, as she didn't want to be the center of attention, and was deeply afraid that Tang Zheng would reveal a flaw. Jiang Yongda smiled reservedly as he nodded and then gave Song Donghua a meaningful glance. Song Donghua understood and walked over to his side. Who is that Tang Zheng? Jiang Yongda asked in a deep voice. Song Donghua suppressed the anger in his heart and said, he is her student. Student? Doesn't she teach high school? Yes, that little brat is a high school student and is also an orphan who was raised by an old man who picked up junk. Even the shrewd Jiang Yongda couldn't hide his surprise as he looked at Tang Zheng from afar, and found it hard to connect him with the information that Song Donghua had said. That little brat only knows how to act and isn't any great person. Song Donghua continued to slander him. Jiang Yongda looked at his secretary meaningfully and said, Donghua, why are you so impatient in front of a high school student? What is Qingmei's status? How could she be together with a high school student? Maybe she is purposely testing you. Song Donghua was speechless as he couldn't say that he personally saw Tang Zheng spend the night at Lu Qingmei's house. Jiang Yongda patted his shoulder and said, perform well tonight and let Qingmei have a more comprehensive and deeper understanding of you. I still think highly of you. Next time when I visit the old leader, I'll bring you with me. Song Donghua felt a burst of excitement. That's right, if he couldn't handle Lu Qingmei, then he could start from her family. As long as he could handle her father, then wouldn't he be able to win her over? Song Donghua seemed to have awoken from a dream as he shed tears of gratitude. Thank you, boss. Tang Zheng and Lu Qingmei went to a corner where many people tried to strike up a conversation with her. It could be said that she was the prettiest girl in the entire ball, but Lu Qingmei was like an iceberg and didn't care about her at all. This made these successful people feel helpless as they couldn't help but look at Tang Zheng a few more times. What kind of ability did this little brat have to be able to make such a beauty so dead set on him? The gentle music disappeared as Jiang Yongda walked up to the stage and gave an impassioned speech. It turned out that this was a ball to attract investors, and the people attending were all successful people from all walks of life. Tang Zheng and Lu Qingmei didn't have the heart to pay attention to these loud speeches as they focused on tasting the red wine in their glasses. Lu Qingmei even warned Tang Zheng not to drink too much due to his young age. After the speech, the music started again and the ball began. Many people pulled their partners onto the dance floor. Song Donghua directly walked over and politely said, Qingmei, may I have the honor of inviting you for the first dance? No. Lu Qingmei mercilessly refused and pulled Tang Zheng towards the dance floor. Tang Zheng was shocked as he didn't know how to dance. Chapter 133. Tang Zheng was forced onto the dance floor like a duck on a perch, leaving behind Song Donghua, who awkwardly maintained his gentlemanly bent posture, causing others to point at him. Book Friends Group. Song Donghua's face turned the color of a pig's liver as his eyes burned with rage. Lu Qingmei was clearly deliberately humiliating him. Lu Qingmei did not think of humiliating anyone as she was not that bored. She simply ignored him and did not even consider the fact that Tang Zheng did not know how to dance. Hey, what are you standing there for? Hurry up and hug my waist. The two stood on the dance floor as Lu Qingmei urged him. Oh! Tang Zheng subconsciously hugged her waist and used some strength, causing her to tightly stick to his body, causing her chest to change shape. She almost cried out in alarm and angrily said, Tang Zheng, what are you doing? She thought that he was deliberately taking advantage of her as he had a criminal record. Tang Zheng innocently said, Didn't you want me to hug your waist? There's no need to hug so tightly. Don't tell me you don't know how to waltz? Don't talk about waltz, I don't even know how to dance. Tang Zheng was a child from a poor family, so how could he know how to dance? Lu Qingmei could not help but roll her eyes. She had thought of every possibility, but she had overlooked this point. But they had already entered the dance floor, and Song Donghua was like a tiger watching its prey. She could not just leave. I'll teach you, and you have to follow my steps. Lu Qingmei imperceptibly taught Tang Zheng the proper posture, and simply explained the rhythm of the steps, and then began to move along with the music. The two were mixed in the crowd and were not too eye-catching. Tang Zheng carefully danced to her rhythm. The two were very close to each other, and he could clearly smell the faint fragrance coming from her body. She was wearing a long dress that looked a bit like an evening gown. It was inevitable that the opening of her chest was a bit low. Tang Zheng's 1.75 m height was taller than her, so when he lowered his head he could see a patch of snow white. There was also a black laced brassiere. The contrast of black and white created a strong visual impact. Tang Zheng couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. This scenery was too alluring. Lu Qingmei noticed his actions. She raised her eyebrows and said coldly, "Where are you looking at?" Tang Zheng panicked and his footsteps became disorderly. Ouch! Lu Qingmei cried out in pain as Tang Zheng stepped on her foot. "You did it on purpose, didn't you?" "No, I don't know how to dance," Tang Zheng argued. Lu Qingmei glared at him. She couldn't help but regret her rashness. She shouldn't have pulled him onto the dance floor. Now she was the one who suffered. Ouch! She was stepped on again. Tang Zheng said awkwardly, "I didn't do it on purpose." Lu Qingmei's eyes burned with anger as she snorted coldly. Ouch! Another person cried out. This time it wasn't Lu Qingmei but Tang Zheng. She deliberately stepped on Tang Zheng's foot with her high heels. "You're the one who did it on purpose, right?" Tang Zheng said angrily. Lu Qingmei's eyes flashed with a trace of craftiness as she said, "It's clearly you who messed up my pace. It's not my fault." Tang Zheng was speechless. He was too lazy to argue with her. He only hoped that the song would end soon. However, the heavens didn't let him. Lu Qingmei's beauty was still too dazzling. Many of the so-called successful people on the dance floor were secretly glancing at her. There were even some people who gradually moved to her side as she danced. Tang Zheng's eyes were sharp and his ears were alert. How could he not see this group of successful perverts? He saw that a fat middle-aged man had already reached her, and was purposely using his back to rub against her. After all, Lu Qingmei was his teacher, and now she was also his dance partner, so how could he let others take advantage of her? Therefore, the hand that was resting on her waist slid down to her buttocks. Even through the thin skirt, he could still feel the soul-stirring elasticity. "What are you doing?" Lu Qingmei turned pale with fright. This brat's character never changed. He actually still wanted to take advantage of her. "Hurry up and move your hands away. Otherwise, I'll really get angry." She was his teacher, but she was taken advantage of by him again and again in front of so many people. How could she not be angry? But Tang Zheng said seriously, "Stop messing around. You still dare to tell me to stop messing around? Is it reasonable for you to take advantage of me?" Lu Qingmei felt like she was going crazy. Before she could reprimand him, she heard a scream that sounded like a pig being slaughtered. It drowned out the sound of the music. This sound was of course made by the fat man. Tang Zheng pointed his finger and a stream of qi hit the other person's butt. It would be strange if he didn't scream. Everyone stopped and their eyes were immediately drawn over. They saw that person's face was red from the pain and it seemed like he was about to cry. The others didn't know what was going on, but Lu Qingmei suddenly realized. Especially when she saw Tang Zheng's evil smile, she knew that he was the one who did it. "What did you just do?" "He wanted to take advantage of you. I taught him a lesson," Tang Zheng said with an evil smile. Lu Qingmei realized that she had wronged him. His hand slid to her but to protect her. She couldn't help but feel a bit ashamed. "Tang Zheng, I'm sorry. I misunderstood you." "It's okay. It's not the first time you misunderstood me," Tang Zheng said generously. "Then can you take your hand away?" Tang Zheng reluctantly let go of his hand. That feeling was really good. Lu Qingmei turned around and stared at the battered and exhausted successful person. That person did not dare to look at her and hurriedly squeezed out of the crowd. "Disgusting," Lu Qingmei coldly said. "Tang Zheng, let's go." Tang Zhang resentfully let go of his hand and the two walked towards Zhang Yongda. Uncle Zhang, I still have some things to do so I'll leave first. Zhang Yongda didn't force them. Okay, I'll come see you next time. Song Donghua watched the two leave. He stood to the side with a gloomy face and didn't say a word. Zhang Yongda glanced at him, patted his shoulder and said, "Haste makes waste." Song Donghua didn't listen to what Zhang Yongda said, but he was unwilling to lose to a high school student. He had to take some measures. He quietly walked to a remote corner and dialed a number. "Hello, hoodlum, help me do something." Tang Jing sat in Lu Qingmei's car. She was still indignant that she had almost been taken advantage of. She swore that she would never go to this kind of messy dance party again. "Where are you going?" She glanced at the calm Tang Zhang and asked. "Home. Shangfeng Shui." Lu Qingmei probed. "Yes. You moved to Shangfeng Shui so quickly." Lu Qingmei was astonished. "Is there a problem?" Lu Qingmei curled her lips in disdain. "Today's mission is complete. Teacher Lu, don't make me come to this kind of place again. It's so fake and boring." Lu Qingmei sighed. "That's right, it's not interesting at all." "If it's not interesting then why did you come? There's no other way. Moreover, you also saw Song Donghua's tail. It's too annoying. Maybe after today he saw that you are my boyfriend he will stop a bit." Tang Zhang shrugged his shoulders disapprovingly. "I don't think so. He knows my identity so he must have guessed that this is a fake show." "Then what should we do?" "How would I know? I'm not a relationship expert." Lu Qingmei looked at him and said, "If you are not a relationship expert when you are between two girls then who would dare to call themselves a relationship expert?" Tang Zhang was too lazy to explain so he simply stopped talking. Seeing that they had arrived at Shangfeng Shui, he picked up his bag and jumped off the car. After school the next day, he ate dinner with Feng Shishir and strolled for a while before returning home. Now that her parents did not object, the two of them had more freedom. However, Feng Shishir was a good child who loved to study so she only used her free time to relax her mind. The two of them did not have any intimate actions at school. After all, the kiss that day was purely an accident and caused quite a stir. As Tang Zhang walked around the school, he saw many people pointing at him. If it wasn't for the rumor that he was hard to beat then there would have been people who would have gone to beat him up. Currently, Tang Zhang was a special existence in the school. He was ranked last in the entire school, but he managed to catch up to the school belle, Feng Shishir. Moreover, he also maintained an ambiguous relationship with the other school belle, Yi Dingdang. He was simply a love saint and of course also a public enemy. However, not only the boys, but even the girls did not give him a good face. After all, having a foot in two boats was not something that girls liked. After sending Feng Shishir home and checking on her practice, Tang Zhang decided to give her a spirit-gathering pill in a few days to improve her cultivation. Her foundation had already been consolidated, and the next step was to raise it. However, she only had cultivation, but not martial arts. This was Tian Chanzi's decision. He was not prepared to let her learn martial arts, but rather wait until he was reborn to teach her magic. At around 10 o'clock, Tang Zhang confirmed that his grandfather had fallen asleep. He then quietly left the house and went straight to the unmarked graves outside the city. He did not notice that there was a van following him from a distance and quietly came to the outskirts of the city. Ordinary Balan City's development in the southern part of the city was very good and was rapidly expanding into the suburbs. However, the demolition of the old city in the northern part of the city was too difficult and had been delayed. Moreover, there was no expansion to the north because it would inevitably cross the unmarked graves. Almost all the businessmen knew that it was a haunted place. Even though the government had lowered the price of the land to a very low level, no one was interested in it. With the bloody lessons of the predecessors, no one dared to provoke those filthy things for a few dollars. In front of life, money was secondary. However, Tang Zhang was not afraid of those filthy things. On the contrary, he liked it very much because the Black Sword liked it very much. He ran all the way. The Black Sword seemed to feel that it was about to have a full meal and excitedly buzzed non-stop. Tonight, dark clouds covered the sky and there was not even a trace of moonlight or starlight. Tang Zhang held a flashlight as he moved forward. After half an hour, he saw his destination. It was an abandoned construction site with overgrown weeds. He could vaguely see some reinforced concrete, but it was covered in a thick layer of moss. Tang Zhang could imagine the frustration of the developer who wanted to show off his skills here but had to retreat in the end. These 2 days, Tang Zhang specially asked around and found out that the developer died not long after bleeding from his 7 orifices. Even the doctors could not find the cause of his death. Many people said that it was a ghost that came to take his life. Tang Zhang took deep and shallow steps and walked towards the center of the construction site with the help of the flashlight. It was almost midnight. Chapter 134. At midnight, the world was dead silent. 6 people came down from a van with a rustling sound. The leader was a man with a scar on his face. He looked extremely fierce. The other 5 people were not kind people either. They all looked ferocious. Brother Ba, are we still chasing after them? That's the unmarked common graves. One of the lackeys trembled as he looked in the direction that Tang Zhang had left. The others also had fearful looks on their faces. The name of the unmarked common graves was simply too resounding. How could they not be afraid? Scarface scolded fiercely. F***CK, what are you afraid of? We have so many people. Even if it's a ghost, I'm going to catch it alive. I've been catching people for so many years, but I've never caught a ghost. When they heard this, their courage grew a lot. They were deeply afraid that if they showed their cowardice in front of their brothers, they would definitely be laughed at to death in the future. Okay, we'll listen to Brother Ba. Let's go in and get rid of that brat. This is the wilderness, and it's an unmarked graveyard. It's a good opportunity to get rid of the corpse. Even if someone saw it, they would definitely think that it was done by a ghost. The lackey agreed. Scarface licked his lips and praised. Not bad, he's got some brains. This brat didn't go anywhere else, but specifically came here. He's simply courting death. If you do what Brother Fei told you to do well, you'll be heavily rewarded. Understand? I know. Yen**, let's go. Hurry up and go in. Don't let that brat escape. Several people walked towards the center of the abandoned construction site with weapons such as clubs and machetes. The flashlight in Tang Zheng's hand was like a beacon, guiding the 6 of them. They were worried that they would be discovered, so they didn't use the flashlight at all. Instead, they just followed in the dark. Step by step, they gradually approached Tang Zheng. They saw Tang Zheng standing on a wasteland. This wasteland was very different from the other places. While other places were overgrown with weeds, this wasteland was bare and the surface was pitch black, as if ink had been broken. They didn't notice the strangeness of this wasteland and rushed out excitedly. The sound of their footsteps finally attracted Tang Zheng's attention. A beam of flashlight shone on them, and they were immediately exposed. They didn't hide anymore and swaggered towards Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng was originally waiting for the evil spirits when he suddenly heard the rustling behind him. He thought that the evil spirits had come out, but he was puzzled. Wasn't there still some time before 12 o'clock? This group of evil spirits came out too early. Gripping the black sword in his hand, he turned around and slashed backward, only to find that it was not an evil spirit under the light, but 6 large living people with weapons in their hands. Who are you people? Tang Zheng asked. Was this a robbery? This group of people was really bold to come here and rob. Scarface took a step forward and used his hand to block the glaring light. He fiercely said, Brat, you've got guts. You actually didn't run when you saw us. Why should I run? I think you should be the ones running. There will soon be a ghost here. If you don't run, then it will be too late. Tang Zheng kindly advised. When they heard the word ghost, they couldn't help but tremble. They looked around as if they were really afraid that a ghost would crawl out from the darkness. But Scarface was very bold and laughed. This father isn't afraid of people, why should I be afraid of ghosts? Indeed, many times people were stronger than ghosts. It seems that Scarface also understood this principle. Tang Zheng shrugged and said, Since you're not afraid, then stay here. The ghost will come out soon. Fuck, don't use ghosts to scare this father. This father isn't scared. This father even dares to kill people. So why should I be afraid of ghosts? If this father was afraid of ghosts, then this father wouldn't kill people. Scarface proudly said, Hey, brat, you want to use ghosts to scare us and take the opportunity to run, right? No way. Today your life will end here. This father wants to see if you will turn into a malicious spirit and come after this father's life. Tang Zheng's expression turned cold. He understood that this group of people were not blocking the road to rob him. Instead, they were deliberately targeting him. They must have followed him all the way here. I knew that no one would come to this unmarked common graves. So it was me who led them here. Tang Zheng suddenly realized, but he was not afraid. Instead, he calmly asked, "You want to kill me? Then who sent you? Let me die with a clear understanding." Tang Zheng's deliberate display of weakness made the few people even more arrogant, and even the last trace of fear towards ghosts disappeared. They all looked at Tang Zheng ferociously, as if they were looking at lambs waiting to be slaughtered. Haha, now you know fear. This is the result of offending Brother Fei. In your next life, remember to open your eyes, Scarface said with a sinister smile. The other henchmen also loudly laughed. Their laughter was particularly loud in this spacious construction site, giving people a creepy feeling. Brother Fei? You must be Hoodlum. Is Hoodlum someone you can call? No wonder Brother Fei sent us to deal with you. It turns out you are so arrogant and ignorant. Scarface reprimanded. Tang Zheng wrinkled his eyebrows. He did not pay attention to the other side's malicious words. Instead, he pondered why Hoodlum would send people to kill him. Was it because he exposed Lin Hu's plan to deal with Hoodlum? He did not hear anything. If it was really exposed, Lin Hu would definitely inform him. Could it be Huang Xiang? Huang Xiang had once tried to assassinate him in the hospital. Afterwards, he analyzed that Huang Xiang must have met the King of Medicine. That night, the King of Medicine was always by his side. Other than him, it could not be anyone else. It was just that the King of Medicine did not say anything. Huang Xiang was also definitely not dead. Otherwise, Huang Xi would definitely cause a ruckus. Ordinary balance would also not be so quiet. It was very likely that Huang Xiang sent Hoodlum to kill him. But thinking about it carefully, Tang Zheng rejected this idea. Huang Xiang was very clear about his skills. Sending these small fries would just be sending him to his death. Forget it. This guessing game is too difficult. When the time comes, I will just directly ask him. Tang Zheng shook his head. He did not want to waste his brain cells. Seeing that Tang Zheng was not afraid at all, Scarface felt that his dignity was being challenged. I am here to kill you, yet you are not afraid. This is simply preposterous. Little brat, kneel down and kowtow to me 3 times. Then I will let you die a quick death. Otherwise, I will let you die an ugly death. Tang Zheng shook his head and sighed. If you want to kill someone, why don't you choose another place? You just had to choose here. It seems like today is the day you die. Haha, he actually said today is the day we die. This little brat must have been scared silly by us. Let's see who will die today. Brother Scarface, why are you still talking to him? Kill him. Scarface nodded. Okay, go kill him. Tang Zheng did not pay attention to them. Instead, he lowered his head and looked at his phone. It was 12 o'clock. At midnight, the ghost gate opened. There was no ghost gate in this unmarked common graves, but wandering ghosts and evil spirits abided by this rule of time. A gust of cold wind blew, causing the surrounding weeds to rustle. In this silent night, the sound was particularly ear-piercing. Why did it suddenly become cold? Yes, it is windy. Everyone, hurry up and deal with it. Once we are done, we can go back and hug our wives to sleep. The bed is much warmer than here. It was already May. The weather was gradually getting hotter, but no one thought that it was abnormal for it to be so cold. Therefore, this group of minion did not have much brain. Tang Zheng was too lazy to pay attention to them. He did not even look at them. He directly turned around and walked into the darkness. Don't let him escape, Scarface shouted. Several people rushed towards Tang Zheng. Bang! Suddenly, they seemed to have bumped into something and were bounced back. Several people fell heavily on the ground. They were battered and exhausted. One of them shouted, Brother Scarface, this brat has an ambush. F*CK, we have so many people. Even if there is an ambush, we are not afraid. The surroundings were pitch black. Tang Zheng's light shone in their direction. They could not see anything. Therefore, They subconsciously thought that the thing they bumped into was Tang Zheng's accomplice. Kill mother asterisk cur. Dare to ambush me. I will kill whoever comes. Scarface's face was fierce. If he could not complete this small task given by Brother Fei, then how would Brother Fei look at him in the future? He would also be ridiculed by others. Several people climbed up and waved their machetes towards the darkness. Bang! It was as if they had hit an iron plate. Several muffled sounds rang out. The machetes all bounced back, almost injuring themselves. Several people were shocked and shouted, "Brother Scarface, this guy is very hard. We can't deal with him." Scarface saw that Tang Zheng had already walked into the darkness. Even with the flashlight, it could not shine too far. It was as if even the light could not penetrate the darkness. He naturally did not pay attention to this strange phenomenon. He was only afraid that if Tang Zheng ran away, then he would not be able to go back and explain to Brother Fei. Therefore, he held his machete and took the lead. He rushed forward and fiercely chopped the machete in his hand. It hit. He chopped the opponent, but this time it did not bounce back. It was as if he had chopped into a bone and was unable to move. F***CK. Come and help me. Mother **cur. This guy will definitely die miserably. I might have chopped into his head. Scarface proudly said. Brother Scarface is mighty. You dare to block Brother Scarface. If God blocks you, kill God. If Buddha blocks you, kill Buddha. Several people flattered. Right, if a ghost blocks you, also kill ghosts. Another henchman added. Scarface proudly laughed. This group of little brothers really knew how to talk. Several people grabbed the hilt of the machete. In the darkness, they could not see what was going on. They used all of their strength but still could not pull it out. This cut is too deep. I am really born with divine strength. Scarface proudly thought. Little brat, shine it on me. It might be easier to pull it out. One of the henchmen immediately took out his phone and turned on the flashlight. A beam of light shot out. In the darkness, it did not shine too far, but it was enough for several people to see what was in front of them. Several people opened their eyes wide, as if they wanted to see Brother Scarface's battle results. There was no shining white brain matter, only a black thing. The bright machete was wrapped in this black thing. What the hell is this? Scarface moved closer. A face appeared in the darkness, and it was very close to the scarred face. This face was lifeless, and there was a big hole in the face. It was dark, and it was impossible to see what was inside. A pair of eyes were bulging high, as if they could fall out at any time. Scarface's face became pale. Ghost! Chapter 135. Scarface screamed and fell to the ground. The other lackeys were also scared out of their wits. They turned around and ran, no longer caring about Scarface's life or death. No one thought that someone was purposely pretending to be a ghost to scare people. No one could pretend to be a ghost. Moreover, the machete was tightly gripped in the other party's hand. The men were unable to pull it out. If this was not a ghost, then could it still be a human? Who would have such great strength? This was indeed a ghost, an evil spirit. Normally, normal people would not be able to see evil spirits. However, the yin qi in the unmarked common graves was too strong. When people were stimulated by the yin qi, they would be able to see the evil spirit. When the evil spirit saw people running away, it chased after them. With a grab of its hand, the last person running was caught in its hand. Its bloody mouth bit down and that person's head was immediately separated from his body. Evil spirits were not only deadly to ghosts, they were also deadly to people. The yin qi angrily howled as several people madly ran. However, how could they outrun the evil spirit? In the blink of an eye, they were caught up. After a round of fighting, their heads were separated from their bodies. Scarface was dumbstruck. He was completely disheartened. Seeing his lackeys killed, he did not have any thoughts of resistance. No matter how arrogant he was before, saying that he was not afraid of ghosts and even said that he wanted to catch a ghost to play with, when he saw a real ghost, he was still scared out of his wits and his legs went soft. 1-0 He was lucky to escape, but he did not have the strength to run. He could only helplessly watch as the evil spirit killed his lackeys and then turned around to walk towards him. That scarred face was extremely frightening. Suddenly, The evil spirit sped up and rushed straight at him, grabbing him. He was like a little chick facing an eagle, pale and powerless. He could only watch as he was sent into the evil spirit's bloody mouth, a foul stench assailing his nostrils. Ah! An ear-piercing scream was deafening. His eyes rolled back and he directly fainted. Roar! Suddenly, a roar came from the distance. The evil spirit turned its head and also let out a roar. It then threw Scarface to the ground and rushed over. Tang Zheng walked step by step into the depths of the darkness. The cold feeling became more and more intense. This was not the cold of a world of ice and snow, but a kind of cold that chilled to the bone. However, he had the 9-yang saint body and also had true qi protecting his body. This yin qi could not harm him at all. With the help of the flashlight, he finally saw something. A huge figure crawled up from the ground. It was an evil spirit. This evil spirit was 2 meters tall and only had 1 ear. No one knew where its nose was. It was much more disgusting and terrifying than the evil spirit Tang Zheng had encountered in the morgue. However, what caught Tang Zheng's attention the most was the hat that the evil spirit was wearing. As long as one was a citizen of this country, they would be very familiar with this hat and would have a very deep impression of it. The Japanese. Tang Zheng's eyes widened. Yes, this was the cap of the Japanese soldier who had invaded this country decades ago. Although his clothes were tattered, Tang Zheng could finally see clearly that it was the Japanese military uniform. Tang Zheng suddenly realized that this place was once a battlefield and many people had died. It turned out that it was the battlefield of the Japanese and Wuxia ancestors. And this evil spirit was so tall that it must have devoured many of Wuxia ancestor souls. Tang Zheng's eyes were bloodshot. When these Japanese were alive, they burned and plundered Wuxia's land. Now that they are dead, they are still here to harm Wuxia's souls. A wave of hot blood rushed to his head. Tang Zheng's body surged with killing intent. The black sword sensed his emotions and also began to buzz and tremble. It was filled with fighting spirit. Kill! Tang Zheng roared and soared into the air. Holding the sword with both hands, he looked down from above and slashed down. The force of 10,000 pounds fell on the evil spirit's head. The evil spirit felt danger. It roared and blocked with both hands. Puff! The black sword fell. Black light flashed and the 2 arms fell to the ground. They turned into a wisp of black gas and were sucked into the black sword. The evil spirit lost its arms, but it was not afraid. Instead, it revealed its ferocious nature and roared into the sky. Suddenly, a series of roars rose and fell. Tang Zheng looked around. With the help of the flashlight, he could vaguely see many things crawling out from the darkness. They were definitely evil spirits. They were densely packed and countless. Tang Zheng was not afraid. His fighting spirit was even higher. He roared, "Kill!" He soared into the air and flew over the evil spirit's head. With a sweep of the black sword, a huge head rolled down. The huge body instantly collapsed and turned into black gas, becoming a delicacy for the black sword. Tang Zheng picked up the flashlight and hurriedly shone it. As expected, evil spirits were everywhere. They were all dressed up as Japanese. Back then, the Japanese were not the only ones who died here. Senior Wuxia was also here. But now, only the evil spirits were left. This was enough to show that they had devoured many of Wuxia's heroic souls. Tang Zheng's blood was boiling and burning as he wanted to start a massacre. He was unable to participate in the war that decided the fate of this country a few decades ago, but today, he was determined to slaughter all of the evil spirits that were causing trouble here. He wanted to start a massacre. Roar! He roared at the Japanese evil spirits around him. Back then, the Wuxia seniors must have roared and roared like this as well. Tang Zheng's voice completely ignited the evil spirits' ferocious nature. They all rushed forward. Tang Zheng held a sword in one hand and a flashlight in the other. He rushed towards the enemy camp. Swoosh! 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 The sword light flashed. Although it was not dazzling, it was filled with killing intent. It danced among the evil spirits. Heaven flying immortal. That agile and elegant sword light was like a fairy descending from the sky. It wanted to get rid of these ugly fellows and return the world to a bright and peaceful state. The evil spirits kept roaring and trying to block the black sword in Tang Zheng's hand. But it was all in vain. Wherever Tang Zheng passed, the evil spirits would be decapitated. They scattered into yin qi and were absorbed by the black sword. After absorbing so much yin qi, the black sword seemed to be increasing its strength. It was even more compatible with Tang Zheng's heaven-flying immortal. In an instant, half of the 100 or so evil spirits were killed by Tang Zheng. The night became even gloomier and the battle intent was even higher. Roar! A sharp roar came from behind the evil spirits. The evil spirits suddenly stopped attacking and automatically parted to the side, revealing a path. Tang Zheng looked at this scene in astonishment. He did not know what had happened. Bang! 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 The ground seemed to be shaking. The dull sound of footsteps gradually approached. Tang Zheng saw a 3-meter-tall evil spirit walking over. From the military uniform it was wearing, it should be an official. There was no doubt that it had swallowed more souls to grow so tall. Kid, this evil spirit is not to be underestimated. You must be careful. Tian Chanzi warned. Tang Zheng locked his gaze on the evil spirit. Without wasting any time, he pushed off with the tip of his foot. Like a whirlwind, he charged forward. The evil spirit also came forward. He actually had a weapon in his hand. It was a samurai sword. In the past, many heartless evil spirits used this kind of samurai sword to kill their Wuxia compatriots. They even treated it as a game. This samurai sword was not condensed from yin qi. It was a real samurai sword. Clang! The sword and saber clashed, causing sparks to fly. Tang Zheng felt a huge force coming from his hand. It was clear that Tian Chanzi was not lying. This evil spirit was not comparable to the other evil spirits. Its strength was really strong. But so what if it was strong? Tang Zheng would not back down. He had to kill them. The Japanese military officer stared at Tang Zheng with its large eyes, an ominous glint flashing in its eyes. Even after tens of years, its eyes still carried an insufferably arrogant look. Tang Zheng met its gaze. He was not afraid at all. He disdained the arrogance in its eyes. Today, I will dig out your arrogant eyeballs and ruthlessly chop them up. Tang Zheng let out a low roar. He soared into the sky and stabbed his black sword towards the evil spirit's head. To kill an evil spirit, the head must be chopped off. Injuring other parts of the body was not fatal. Even if it was the heart, it was because they did not have a heart. The evil spirit raised its saber with both hands and vigorously chopped down. Clang! There was another flash of fire. But this time, the sword and saber did not separate. Instead, they faced each other. Pang! Tang Zheng's feet landed on the ground, causing the ground to tremble. The samurai sword pressed down, causing Tang Zheng's arm to involuntarily bend. The evil spirit's strength was too great. Moreover, it was tall and big. Looking down from above, its attack power was multiplied. Tang Zheng's eyes were about to split open. He clenched his teeth and hurriedly circulated the ancient clear heaven scroll. Powerful qi poured into the black sword. Hong! The black sword blazed with a black light. Tang Zheng's arm was lifted up bit by bit. Seeing this, the evil spirit roared. The evil spirits in all directions seemed to have received an order and instantly charged towards Tang Zheng. Despicable! Tang Zheng clenched his teeth. Seeing the evil spirits charging towards him, if he did not block, then these evil spirits would be enough to tear him to shreds. Thus, he let out a low roar and lowered his body. Taking advantage of the momentum, he rolled and dodged the samurai sword. The samurai sword fiercely chopped into the ground, creating a large crack. It was clear how terrifying its strength was. Tang Zheng somersaulted like a carp. The evil spirits had already charged in front of him. Shua, the black sword chopped down as if it was cutting through thistles and thorns. The evil spirits charging at the front were split in two. But the evil spirits behind him continued to charge forward dauntlessly. With a flick of his wrist, he drew out a sword flower. Shua, shua, shua. The heaven-flying immortal's nimbleness and elegance was displayed to the fullest. The only thing that could be seen was the sword light flying through the evil spirits, and one after another large heads fell to the ground. In this breath of time, he had killed another 10 evil spirits. Seeing this, the Japanese officer angrily roared and blocked Tang Zheng's path, preventing him from killing the evil spirits. This evil spirit is too tall and strong. It is indeed difficult to deal with. Tang Zheng's thoughts raced as he searched for the enemy's weak point. This series of attacks had consumed a lot of his qi. It was impossible for him to fight endlessly. Suddenly, His gaze fell on the evil spirit's legs. That's right, since you're so tall, then I'll cut off your legs. Let's see what use your tall body has. Tang Zhang madly sprinted forward again, directly attacking the evil spirit's legs. The samurai sword fell from the sky and landed in front of Tang Zhang, blocking his path. The evil spirit seemed to know that his weak point was his legs, so he guarded them very tightly. Damn it! So cunning. Tang Zhang naturally would not give up. He continued to persevere in attacking the evil spirit's lower body. Kill! Suddenly, a heaven-shaking roar sounded out from behind Tang Zhang. Tang Zhang was startled. These evil spirits had not opened their mouths to speak. So who was the one that shouted out the Wuxia word kill? Chapter 136. Before Tang Zhang had the time to turn around, he saw the Japanese officer roaring behind him, and a gust of cold wind swept over from behind him. Fairy Search, download novel for free. Tang Zhang didn't know what was behind him, but he subconsciously felt danger. With a tap of his foot, he jumped to the side, dodging the gust of cold wind. He saw a similarly huge body rushing towards the Japanese officer. Kill! So this word came from the mouth of this huge creature, full of grandeur. Tang Zhang stared blankly at this huge creature. Wuxia's face was ashen, but his face was still intact. He wore a military cap on his head, and his military uniform had already rotted into strips of cloth. However, one could vaguely make out that this was Wuxia's military uniform, the Wuxia soldier who fought against the Japanese in the past. However, it was clear that he had also become an evil spirit, and had become an enemy of the Japanese officer. This was because he charged forward without any regard for his own safety, and the heavy broadsword in his hand fiercely chopped down on the Japanese officer's head. This broadsword was also a real broadsword, not condensed from yin qi. Both sides were tall, and suddenly it was like two giants fighting. Each move was powerful, and the momentum was terrifying. Little brat, these two were sworn enemies when they were alive. After they died, they turned into evil spirits, but they still maintained their nature. That's why they fought to the death. With this helper, your pressure will be much less. Tian Chanzi explained. A sense of admiration arose spontaneously. This Wuxia officer, in order to protect his country, had fought against the Japanese. After he died, he actually changed into another form to continue fighting against these invaders. This spirit touched him deeply. This was a type of soul, the soul of a soldier, the soul of Wuxia, a type of soul that would never stop fighting. Battle soul. The battle between the battle soul and the Japanese officer was very intense. Tang Zhang couldn't help for the time being, and when the evil spirits saw their leader being attacked, they swarmed towards the battle soul. Stop! Tang Zhang gave a loud roar as he raised his sword and blocked in front of the battle soul. The sword's light intertwined to form an impenetrable wall, and any Japanese evil spirits that charged over were immediately killed, turning into strands of black gas that were absorbed by the black sword. The war spirits crisis was temporarily alleviated, but Tang Zhang's hatred for these hateful Japanese evil spirits had seeped into his bones. He turned into a whirlwind and charged into the enemy's camp. His sword flashed, and one head after another flew into the sky. Countless amounts of black chi swirled around the wasteland, and even the black sword could not absorb it all. But Tang Zhang couldn't care less. His goal was to kill all the evil Japanese spirits. Only when the last evil Japanese spirit fell under his sword did he let out a sigh of relief. His body was already drenched in sweat. This battle was really satisfying, and it allowed him to vent most of the anger in his heart. The black sword was so excited that it trembled non-stop. The sword hummed incessantly as it continued to absorb the yin qi on the wasteland. It was really a strong yin qi, and its movements were not small. Not long after, it had finished absorbing the yin qi. Tang Zhang took a deep breath and calmed himself down. He turned around and looked at the other battlefield. The battle between the battle soul and the Japanese officer had already reached its climax. Both sides seemed to be very familiar with each other's moves and attack patterns. They had probably fought countless times, and had probably been like this for the past few years. However, neither side could really kill the other. When the Japanese officer saw Tang Zhang killing the Japanese evil spirits one by one like carrots, he immediately roared in anger. He wanted to come over and help, but he was entangled by the battle soul and could not get away. At this moment, when he saw Tang Zheng slaughtering all the Japanese evil spirits, he became even more ferocious. He forced the battle soul back with a slash and then rushed towards Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng roared and rushed over, directly towards the battle soul's lower body. The battle soul also chased from behind, attacking from the front and back. One from the top and one from the bottom. The two attacks were seamless. Dang! The katana blocked Tang Zheng's black sword. Tang Zheng was bounced back, while the battle soul's large blade fell on the Japanese officer's back. Crash! A large hole opened up, and wisps of black chi came out. The Japanese officer roared, turned around and rushed towards the battle soul. Tang Zheng took the opportunity to attack his lower body from behind. The Japanese officer could no longer care about Tang Zheng. With a poochie sound, Tang Zheng had succeeded in cutting off one of his legs. Put on! The Japanese officer staggered and fell to the ground. The battle soul took advantage of the situation and chopped down with its large blade, aiming directly for his head. The Japanese officer saw that the situation was not good, and hurriedly raised his katana with both hands to block the battle soul's large blade. Of course, Tang Zheng would not let go of this heaven-sent opportunity. A figure flashed and pounced towards the Japanese officer's other leg. The Japanese officer seemed to have sensed something, and actually retracted his leg, causing Tang Zheng's attack to miss. Then, the Japanese officer flipped in the air and actually stood up on one leg. Tang Zheng was secretly speechless. The Japanese officer's reaction was too sharp. Under this kind of pincer attack, he was actually able to narrowly dodge. However, in the end, it only had one leg left, and the feeling of standing on one leg was not good. The war spirit's attacks were large and powerful, and the Japanese officer staggered left and right, almost unable to stand steadily. Hey, this is the time. I'll chop off your other leg. Let's see what you can do. Tang Zheng lowered his body, and quietly appeared behind the Japanese officer. A black light flashed, and the black sword chopped down. The Japanese officer finally realized that something was wrong behind him, and hurriedly turned his head, but it was too late. A large leg flew up. Boom! With a loud sound, the Japanese officer who had lost both his legs fell to the ground. Haha, let's see how you're going to fight now. Tang Zheng was overjoyed, and flew towards the Japanese officer's head. It raised its katana with difficulty to block. Kacha! With a crisp sound, the black sword chopped the katana in half. The Japanese officer was stunned for a moment, as if he could not believe what had just happened. The katana was previously supported by the Japanese officer's strength, so it was able to contend with the black sword. Now that the Japanese officer was seriously injured, the katana naturally became an ordinary weapon, and was no match for the black sword. Tang Zheng followed up with another strike, and with a poochie, the head fell to the ground, turning into a cloud of black gas. The battle soul stopped, and stared at the scene with its big eyes. It looked at the Japanese officer who was turning into a cloud of black gas, and then looked at Tang Zheng who was holding the black sword with one hand. For a moment, it seemed to be in a daze, and did not move. The black gas was quickly absorbed by the black sword, but the battle soul still did not move, and just stared blankly at the scene. Little brat, this big guy is an evil spirit. You can also destroy it. Tian Chanzi suggested. No, he is the heroic spirit of a Wuxia soldier. How can I destroy him? Tang Zheng rejected. What do you know? He is now an evil spirit, and evil spirits are extremely aggressive. In the future, if other people enter this place, they will also be attacked by him. In the past, he only maintained a trace of his original nature to fight against the Japanese evil spirit. Now that the other party is dead, his original nature will gradually disappear, and he will become an evil spirit that only knows how to kill. If you don't destroy him, he will cause the deaths of innocent people in the future. Moreover, if you let him wander in this world, he will become a lonely ghost. Do you think this is good for him? Tang Zheng was silent. Tian Chanzi was right. If Tang Zheng did not destroy him, he would definitely hurt people in the future. Moreover, he would hurt the people he once protected in Wuxia. He definitely did not want to see such a thing happen. However, Tang Zheng admired his original nature, and could not bear to destroy him like this. Tian Chanzi, is there any way to compromise? Not only can I not hurt him, but I can also protect him. Kid, sometimes you are too soft-hearted. His situation is definitely not an exception in this land. Do you think you can save all of them? Tian Chanzi lectured. Tang Zheng's face was firm and unwavering. He resolutely said, I don't have that much ability, but if I meet him, I will save him. Tian Chanzi, don't be long-winded. Are you going to help or not? Tian Chanzi sighed. I really don't know what to do with you. Okay, I will help you this time. The best way to protect this big guy is to find him a place to live. Don't let him wander between heaven and earth. Tang Zhang said dejectedly. Where am I going to find him a place to live? I can't bring him home, right? Bring him home? Do you want your grandfather's life? Of course not. Since you said so, you must have a way. Hurry up and say it. Don't dilly-dally. Tang Zheng impatiently urged. Black sword. The black sword in your hand is his place of residence. Just like how the black-clothed man imprisoned the black monarch snake's soul in the black sword, you can also absorb him into the black sword. Really? Doesn't the black sword like to absorb Yin Qi? The war spirit is condensed from Yin Qi. Won't it be absorbed by the black sword? Tang Zheng asked worriedly. You really are an idiot. You are the master of the black sword. It will do whatever you tell it to do. How would it dare to absorb this big guy's Yin Qi? On the contrary, the more Yin Qi the black sword absorbs, the more it can nourish him. Maybe it can even increase his strength. No matter how much he increases, he is still an evil spirit. He has no consciousness and is muddle-headed. It is a pity to see him like this. Tang Zhang could imagine that the war spirit must have been a famous general. However, after his death, he became a muddle-headed evil spirit. It made people sigh endlessly. Tian Chanzi chuckled. That is not necessarily true. When your cultivation reaches a certain level in the future, maybe you will think of a way to help him regain his consciousness. Really? Tang Zheng was overjoyed. This was the best-case scenario. Of course it's true. When have I, Tian Chanzi, ever lied? However, it is useless for you to understand this now. This is a great divine ability. You can comprehend it yourself in the future. Tian Chanzi pretended to be mysterious as he said. If you don't want to say it, then don't say it. However, since there is a way, then I am relieved. Tang Zheng looked at the war spirit and smiled. Unknowingly, the dark clouds in the sky had dissipated and the moonlight shone on the war spirit's body. He stood there alone. His body was tall and indomitable. However, he gave off a strong sense of loneliness. Tang Zheng's heart moved as if he had felt something. His companions have all sacrificed themselves. He is the only one left in this world. This is indeed a great loneliness. No matter, war spirit. I will accompany you in the future. We will fight against the heavens and the earth. Let us continue to fight. Tang Zheng's fighting spirit was ignited and his eyes lit up. Coincidentally, the war spirit lowered his head and looked at each other. A low roar escaped from his mouth. Kill! Chapter 137. The word kill was filled with murderous intent, filled with boundless power. A gust of cold wind swept over, rushing towards Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng narrowed his eyes, looking at the war spirit in astonishment. He saw the war spirit raise the large blade with both hands, chopping down at Tang Zheng's head. Hee hee, little brat, how was it? I was right, evil spirits like to kill. Tian Chanzi said proudly. Tang Zheng leaned to the side to avoid the blade. The heavy blade struck the ground, creating a large crack. Tian Chanzi, don't be sarcastic. Hurry up and tell me, how do I absorb the war spirit into the black sword? Tian Chanzi did not want to be enemies with the war spirit, so he quickly moved to avoid the attack. You have to press down on his head, then use a secret technique to control his mind. Only then can you absorb him into the black sword. Tian Chanzi said. My head. Tang Zheng looked at the 3-meter-tall war spirit and shrunk his neck, dodging the blade that swept towards him. Climbing onto his head was not an easy task. After all, the threat of the war spirit's large blade was not small. Okay, you tell me the secret technique first. Tian Chanzi immediately imparted the technique to Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng felt it. Then he tiptoed and soared into the sky. The war spirit's blade slashed down, wanting to split Tang Zheng in two. Clang! The blade and sword clashed, and Tang Zheng fell heavily to the ground. I don't believe that I can't go up. Tang Zheng clenched his teeth and once again rushed up. This time, the war spirit's blade was merciless. Tang Zheng did not use the black sword to block, but instead used the tip of his foot to tap on the heavy broadsword. Borrowing the rebounding force of the broadsword, he leapt into the air and dangerously jumped onto Zhang Hun's shoulder. His large hand immediately pressed down on Zhang Hun's head as he used the secret technique. The war soul raised its blade and chopped down on Tang Zheng's head, as if it wasn't afraid of being cut in half. That indomitable aura seemed to want to cut Tang Zheng in half. However, Tang Zheng acted as if he didn't see it. The chilly wind blew in his face, but he remained calm and collected, concentrating on executing the secret technique. Suddenly, the large blade stopped, and the ferocious light in the war spirit's eyes gradually dissipated. Collect! Tang Zheng let out a low shout. The black sword glowed brightly under the bright moonlight. Whoosh! The war soul's huge body twisted, and in an instant, it turned into a cloud of black gas and flew into the black sword. With a clang, the war soul's large blade fell to the ground and broke into pieces. Without the support of the battle soul, the blade had finally completed its historical mission. Tang Zheng landed firmly on the ground and let out a sigh of relief. He patted Black Sword and said, "Battle Soul, from now on you will be by my side. We will fight side by side." Wang! Black Sword trembled, not knowing if it was Black Sword or the War Soul responding to him. Black Sword, from now on you and the War Soul will become one. I will bestow upon you a name. From now on you are the War Soul and the War Soul is you. The sword's cry soared into the sky. From this moment on, Black Sword had a new name, War Soul. Black Sword seemed to have sensed something, and with a flash of black light, Tang Zheng saw two words near the sword's hilt, War Soul. Tang Zheng smiled in satisfaction, and raised his head to look at the wasteland. In the future, without these evil spirits, maybe after a while, this piece of land would be used to build high-rise buildings. He could be considered to have removed a huge threat for ordinary balance. His gaze subconsciously looked towards the road, and under the moonlight, he could faintly see a few corpses crawling on the ground. He shook his head without pity. When he heard the series of screams, he didn't make a move because Scarface and his gang wanted to kill him, and he wasn't so kind as to save them. After all, he was someone who abhorred evil. Clap, clap, clap. Suddenly, a series of applause sounded, and it was especially clear and piercing in the silent night. Tang Zheng's relaxed nerves suddenly tensed up, and he looked towards the direction of the sound with vigilance. He saw a person standing under the moonlight, and he didn't know how long he had been hiding there. Tang Zheng was so focused on fighting that he didn't notice him at all. Wonderful, wonderful! The applause disappeared, and an old voice sounded. This voice was like a low whisper, but it reached Tang Zheng's ears without missing a word. Tang Zheng held the War Soul tightly, and raised his guard. He had used up a lot of energy in the battle just now, and if the other party was an enemy, then he would be in trouble. Who are you? The other party didn't answer, but walked directly towards Tang Zheng. His steps were small, but the distance of tens of meters was covered in an instant. Tang Zheng's pupils shrank, and he became more vigilant. Kid, this is the shrinking earth technique. This person is not simple. Tian Chanzi reminded. Shrinking earth technique. Why haven't I heard you mention it before? Tang Zheng asked suspiciously. There are so many techniques in this world, how can I tell you all of them? In short, remember, I feel that this person is not a good person, so if there is a situation, run for your life. You are not his opponent. Tian Chanzi had never been so vigilant, and this showed that the situation was really not optimistic. It's been a long time since I've seen such a big battle. It's really an eye-opener. The person stood 3 meters away from Tang Zheng, and stared at him closely. Tang Zheng was finally able to clearly see the other party's appearance. It was an old man dressed in black, as if he was one with the night. He had a white beard and a pair of eyes that were like those of an eagle, bright and sharp, with a kind of soul-stirring magic. I've been looking for people like me, and I didn't expect that this ordinary balance trip would finally come true. The other party continued to say. Same kind of people? Tang Zheng frowned and his heart moved. Are you a cultivator? Of course. The old man raised his neck, and seemed somewhat arrogant. This was the second cultivator that Tang Zhang had encountered, and it was not a good thing for cultivators to appear in his world one after another, because he was still too weak. Then I don't know what you want? Tang Zhang asked. Previously, I found that the qi between heaven and earth was chaotic, and the yin qi was rich, so I came to take a look. I didn't expect to see you. This is really the will of heaven. Tang Zhang suddenly realized that the battle here had disturbed the qi between heaven and earth, and attracted the other party. Of course, ordinary people would not be aware of the changes in the qi between heaven and earth, but cultivators absorbed the qi of heaven and earth into their body and transformed it into true qi, so they were particularly sensitive to the changes in the qi between heaven and earth. I came to ordinary balance to look for you, and I accidentally saw you, you say. Is this not the will of heaven? The old man said with a faint smile on his face, but this smile did not give people a warm feeling, and instead gave people a cold feeling. Looking for me? Tang Zhang was shocked, and his heart had an ominous premonition. Who are you? The sword in your hand is my disciple's, and you say who I am? The old man's pupils shrank, and he stared at the black sword soul, but his smile did not diminish, and he coldly asked, You are that black-clothed man's master? Tang Zhang's ominous premonition was finally confirmed. Hey, it seems that you have not forgotten my disciple, and I am his master, Taoist Tianji. Seeing your performance tonight, it is normal for him to die in your hands, but as his master, of course I will take revenge for him. The old man said slowly. Taoist Tianji, Tiske. This person really dares to use this name. Truly, the ignorant are fearless. With such little strength he dares to call himself Taoist Tianji. Tian Chanzi snorted. Tang Zhang did not pay attention to Tian Chanzi's ridicule, and instead raised his spirits and asked, Then what do you want? You killed my disciple, so of course I will kill you, but it is really a pity. It is so hard to find someone of the same kind, and I have to kill you like this. The future days will be very boring. Taoist Tianji sighed. You have never seen other cultivators? Taoist Tianji regretfully shook his head. Now is the world of martial artists, and cultivators are withered, as rare as phoenix feathers and unicorn horns. Wanting to find a cultivator is easier said than done. I once suspected that there were no more cultivators. I once found one, but he was killed by me, and you are the second one. Tang Zhang did not think that he was more precious than a giant panda, and the old man only found 2 cultivators after dozens of years, so perhaps there really were no more cultivators in this world. Bullshit. How could there be no more cultivators? The strength of cultivators is beyond your imagination. How could they disappear so easily? Even if it was in the competition between martial artists and cultivators back then, it would be impossible to eliminate all of the cultivators, absolutely impossible. The heaven monk had already retorted angrily. Tang Zhang's heart moved. After thousands of years, the sea has turned into mulberry fields, and anything is possible. Absolutely impossible. Don't listen to his nonsense. He is just a small cultivator at the first grade of the foundation establishment stage, yet he dares to say that there are no more cultivators in this world. How preposterous. He is simply a frog at the bottom of a well. Heaven Monk continued to criticize. Tang Zhang decided to temporarily throw this question to the back of his mind, and think about it later. Right now, he had to deal with this first-grade foundation establishment Taoist Tianji. Tang Zhang was a 6th-grade refining qi, and there was a difference of 4 grades between him and the opponent. This was not a small gap, and he had just experienced a great battle, while the opponent was waiting for him to tire himself out, so there was no way to fight this battle. Taoist Tianji saw that Tang Zhang did not say a word, so he continued to talk. So I am very curious how you became a cultivator? Since we are the same kind of people, why not share this secret? After all, other people do not understand our world. Otherwise, after I kill you, no one will know this secret, and it will not be passed down. Wouldn't that be a pity? After saying 1,000 words, Taoist Tianji still wanted to pry into Tang Zhang's secret. Since there were so few cultivators in this world, and he finally met one, he would spare no effort to pry into the other's secret. Because of this, he was not in a rush to make a move, as he had already seen that Tang Zhang was a 6th-grade refining qi, and he was confident that he could easily defeat him. No comment. Tang Zhang coldly refused. Haha, young and impetuous, you are quite similar to my disciple, but I do not like this kind of temper because what I want to know what I want to do, no one can stop me. That year, that cultivator wanted to stop me, and was killed by me. Taoist Tianji's tone gradually turned cold, and the smile on his face also disappeared. Originally, I wanted to let you live for a bit longer, so that we could chat a bit more. You should know that people like us are very lonely, but it seems that you do not have this honor. Once I take you down, I will naturally have a way to find out everything about you. As his voice fell, killing intent filled the sky. Chapter 138. A sword appeared in Daoist Tianji's hand. It glinted with a cold light as it rapidly pierced towards Tang Zheng. The 3-meter distance was closed in an instant, and the powerful pressure caused people to involuntarily gasp for breath. Tang Zheng raised his sword to block. Ding Dang clashed with Tang Zheng, and Daoist Tianji was forced back several meters. It could be seen just how powerful Daoist Tianji was. Young man, you are not my opponent. Just give up. Daoist Tianji said with satisfaction. Tang Zheng coldly snorted and used the transcendent flying immortal. The nimble sword technique caused Daoist Tianji's eyes to light up. Good sword technique. Young man, you actually have such an exquisite sword technique. This is truly unexpected. Heh, this is an unexpected gain. Daoist Tianji was clearly envious of the transcendent flying immortal. This kind of exquisite sword technique in your hands is a waste of a heavenly treasure. Then you should bring it to greater heights for me. Daoist Tianji's attacks were like a storm, causing the pressure on Tang Zheng to increase. Young man, quickly run. You are not his opponent, so why are you tangling with him? Tian Chanzi anxiously said. But how can I escape? His attacks are surrounding me from all sides, so there is no way to escape. Tang Zheng did not think that the opponent's attacks would have such terrifying power. It was completely different from the level of the black-clothed man from before. This was the difference in cultivation. It was simply impossible to surmount the heavenly moat. True fire. If you use true fire to attack, you will definitely be able to catch him off guard. As long as you can distract him, then you can escape. Tian Chanzi reminded. Tang Zheng moved and stabbed out with his sword. Daoist Tianji laughed loudly. This little bit of attack is simply too weak. He raised his sword to meet the attack. The swords intersected, creating intense sparks. Tang Zheng's hand went past the sword and grabbed at Daoist Tianji. Daoist Tianji saw this and disdained it. He also stretched out his hand as if he wanted to grab Tang Zheng. His movements were faster and fiercer than Tang Zheng's. In a flash, he grabbed Tang Zheng's hand and laughed. Young man, you've lost. You can't escape. Tang Zheng's eyes turned cold as the corners of his mouth curled up into a sneer. Not necessarily. Boom. A faint purple flame shot up from his hand and quickly spread to Daoist Tianji's hand. What is this? True fire? Daoist Tianji jumped in fright before disdainfully saying, You want to use true fire to hurt me? What a joke. However, this was clearly not a joke. As soon as he finished speaking, his calm and collected expression finally changed. He shrieked. How is this possible? How can this true fire hurt me? The true fire could indeed injure him. The true fire quickly spread from his arm to the rest of his body, almost turning him into a flaming man. Normally, even if a cultivator's true fire was attached to another cultivator's body, as long as the other party used their cultivation to block off the true fire would not be a problem and would not be able to hurt the other party. Daoist Tianji also wanted to do this, but after he used his cultivation, he found that he could not block off the true fire. Moreover, the true fire was quickly spreading through his body as if it wanted to burn him from the outside to the inside. Immediately, he was scared out of his wits. This strange phenomenon made him realize the danger. He shouted in disbelief. How did you do it? Tang Zheng did not have the heart to reply. Taking advantage of Daoist Tianji's release of his hand, Tang Zheng took the opportunity to send a palm over. Pang! Daoist Tianji's chest was imprinted with a palm print. His black clothes were instantly burned away, revealing his bare chest. Moreover, the true fire was still drilling into his skin. Now is the time. Quickly run. Tian Chanzi urged. Tang Zheng understood that even though he used the true fire to injure Daoist Tianji, to truly kill him was easier said than done. Therefore, Tang Zheng did not chase after him and instead turned to run. Stop! I will cut your corpse into 10,000 pieces. Daoist Tianji crazily roared. He did not care about the injuries from the true fire as he chased after him. The power of spatial bending was displayed. Tang Zhang had already run over 1,000 meters when Daoist Tianji suddenly caught up to him. Tang Zhang jumped in fright. He turned around and sent out a palm full of true fire. Daoist Tianji subconsciously dodged and Tang Zhang took the opportunity to quickly escape. Daoist Tianji angrily roared, "Stop!" He once again used spatial bending to give chase. This repeated until the two of them reached the city center. Luckily, it was the latter half of the night, so there was basically no one on the streets. Otherwise, they would have been scared silly by this scene. One person was madly running in front. His speed was extremely fast, like a whirlwind. The other person was relentlessly chasing after him. The key point was that his body was covered in flames. It was just too strange. Ah! Suddenly, Daoist Tianji pitifully cried out. He could not help but stop running. He rushed towards Tang Zheng's back and roared, "Little brat, I will not let you go." The true fire had already completely enveloped him. He had been busy chasing after Su Mo, so he had no way to multitask to suppress the true fire. Now that his body could no longer take it, he hurriedly stopped and circulated his qi to suppress the true fire. The true fire slowly decreased. After a moment, it completely disappeared. Daoist Tianji's body was already charred black. His clothes were tattered and he no longer had a majestic appearance. He simply looked like a beggar. "Little brat, if I catch up to you, I will definitely cut your corpse into 10,000 pieces." Daoist Tianji once again madly ran, but Tang Zhang had already disappeared without a trace. However, this was not a problem for him, as he was after all an expert and had some skill in tracking people. Once he determined the general direction, he would not stop chasing. Tang Zhang saw that Daoist Tianji had stopped, but he did not slow down. He continued to madly run. A moment later, he heard a roar from behind him. He knew that the other party had caught up. Daoist Tianji had the earth-shrinking technique, so there was no way that Tang Zhang could outrun him. "This won't do. I can't just randomly run around like this. I need to find a place to hide." Tang Zhang raised his head to look. Why does this place seem so familiar? Especially that small villa in front. Isn't that Feng Shesher's house? His mind raced as he directly rushed into the courtyard and jumped in through the window. From afar, he could already hear Daoist Tianji's roar getting closer and closer. He familiarly arrived at Feng Shesher's door. He gently twisted the door lock and quietly walked in. "Who is it?" Feng Shesher suddenly sat up and asked in a panic. "Shoo, it's me, Shesher," Tang Zheng hurriedly said. Feng Shesher was pleasantly surprised. Her little heart was beating rapidly. Sneaking into her room in the middle of the night, this motive was self-evident. This made her both shy and happy. "Tang Zheng, why are you here?" "Wait a moment. I'll turn on the lights." "Don't turn on the lights." Tang Zheng hurriedly stopped her. "Okay." Feng Shesher did not ask any more questions as she rushed off the bed and threw herself into Tang Zheng's embrace. "Why did you sneak into my house?" "Someone is chasing me." "Listen, there's someone shouting outside," Tang Zheng reminded. Feng Shesher was slightly disappointed. She originally thought that he came specifically to find her but was chased by someone. But hearing that he was being chased, she was still worried. She hurriedly said, "Who is chasing you?" "I'll go chase this bad guy away." "Don't. I'm not his match and you're even less of a match. We can't make a sound, otherwise it'll be bad if he finds out." There were so many houses here that Daoist Tianji couldn't possibly search each house one by one. Moreover, his shouting had already attracted attention. Many of the owners had already been woken up. In this kind of high-class villa district, there was no lack of patrolling security. Seeing this shabbily dressed fellow, they quickly ran over to stop him so that he wouldn't disturb the residents' dreams. How could these normal security guards be Daoist Tianji's match, so they were all flipped over. The more clever ones had already called the police. Daoist Tianji was caught in the middle of a war between the people, so he couldn't find any trace of Tang Zheng. Hearing the noise outside grow louder and louder, Feng Shesher said, "Let's hide on the bed. That bad guy definitely won't be able to find us." "Okay." Tang Zheng hugged her and climbed onto the bed in the darkness. Feng Shesher obediently laid in his embrace. "Who is the bad guy?" "A great demon who kills without batting an eye." Feng Shesher's delicate body trembled. Her hands couldn't help but hug his waist tightly. Then isn't he very powerful? Yes, he's more powerful than me. But as long as we're careful, he won't be able to find us and I'll be safe. If you hide in my house, he definitely won't be able to find us. Tang Zhang hugged his girlfriend and listened attentively to the movements outside. It seemed like there was already an alarm going off. It seems like the police should be here soon. He let out a sigh of relief as they were temporarily safe. The police will definitely be able to capture the bad guy. Feng Shishir finished speaking as she found a comfortable position in his embrace and pressed even tighter against him. Tang Zhang declined to comment as the police definitely wouldn't be able to capture Daoist Tianji. However, they would still be able to intimidate the other party. Daoist Tianji was also very clear that he couldn't directly clash with these powerful mechanisms, otherwise he wouldn't be able to handle them. Of course, Tang Zheng wouldn't foolishly run out. Daoist Tianji definitely wouldn't go far and would hide in the shadows to spy on them. As long as Tang Zheng ran into him, Daoist Tianji would definitely kill him. Dong dong dong. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door causing the two people hugging each other to jump in fright. Shishir, are you awake? Shimeng Qin's voice sounded. It's my mom. What should we do? Feng Shishir asked in a low voice. Don't let her in. Feng Shishir nodded her head. Mom, I'm awake. What happened? Why is it so noisy? I heard the security guard say that a madman came outside and has already been chased away. You should quickly go to sleep and don't get up. You still have class tomorrow. Oh, I know. The bad guy has been chased away. Feng Shishir happily said in a low voice. Tang Zheng let out a sigh of relief and said, Then you should quickly go to sleep. Are you leaving? Feng Shishir anxiously asked. I'm not leaving. Tang Zheng could only stay here tonight as he still couldn't leave Feng Shishir's bedroom. Otherwise, it would definitely cause a huge reaction from the Feng couple. If he were to cause a huge commotion in the middle of the night, it would definitely attract Daoist Tianji's attention and expose his whereabouts. I also don't want you to leave. I just want to hug you to sleep. I've never hugged you to sleep before. Feng Shishir sweetly said. Aya, you're still wearing clothes. It's not comfortable to hug you. Hurry and take them off. Tang Zheng had no choice but to take off his jacket in the darkness. Then, a warm body threw itself into his embrace. With a soft jade in his embrace, her fragrance assailed his nostrils. Chapter 139. Tang Zheng, I miss you. Feng Shishir murmured in a low voice, her voice was soft and sweet, instantly touching Tang Zheng's heart. Just now I dreamt of you, but the sound of you opening the door woke me up. You have to make it up to me. Dreamt of me? Then what did you dream of us doing? Tang Zheng curiously asked. Feng Shishir lightly bit her teeth and shyly said, I'm not telling you. Tang Zheng heard a strange tone and deliberately teased. Could it be that you did something bad to me in your dream, so you're too embarrassed to tell me? Feng Shishir quickly shook her head in denial. Of course not, it was clearly you who did something bad. How could it be me doing something bad? Tang Zheng chuckled and temporarily threw the matter of Daoist Tianji to the back of his mind. With a beauty in his arms, why would he think of that great demon? I'm such a righteous person. How could I do anything bad? Tang Zheng seriously retorted. Grandma Wang praises herself for selling melons. I'm just speaking the truth. Tang Zheng's hand on her waist slowly moved upwards. Feng Shishir hurriedly grabbed his hand. What are you doing? Just now I scared you, so now I'm going to properly comfort you and make it up to you for disturbing your beautiful dream. Tang Zheng solemnly said. Bad guy. How could Feng Shishir not understand his intentions? She bit her lip and coquettishly said. You dare to call me a bad guy, then I'm really going to do what bad guys do. Tang Zheng's hand grabbed those two peaks. Ah, don't. Feng Shishir's breathing involuntarily quickened, as if she really was made of water, softening into Tang Zheng's embrace. Sometimes when a woman says she doesn't want it, then she wants it. Tang Zheng of course wasn't stupid enough to not understand her true thoughts, so he increased the pace of his attack. Feng Shishir was wearing a nightgown. Tang Zheng's other hand reached under the nightgown, and her smooth and delicate thigh immediately fell into his palm. Feng Shishir's passion was completely aroused. She couldn't help but hug his head and press him against her chest. Tang Zheng's mind immediately sank into a sea of soft dogs. Breathing in the alluring fragrance, His blood almost boiled. He flipped over and pressed her under his body. Although the room was dark, it didn't affect their movements. Only a rustling sound could be heard, followed by deliberately suppressed moans and gasps. "Will your parents hear us?" Tang Zheng asked worriedly. "No, my house is soundproof." With no more worries, Tang Zheng simply increased the intensity of his movements. Immediately, Feng Shishi's cries rose one after another, causing Tang Zheng's beast blood to boil even more. Feng Chonghua and Shi Mengqin were lying on the bed when Shi Mengqin suddenly sat up straight. She shook her husband and said, "Chonghua, did you hear a strange sound?" Feng Chonghua flipped over and said in a daze, "What sound? Don't be so suspicious. Hurry up and go to sleep. Didn't the security say that the madman had already been chased away?" Shi Mengqin tilted her head and listened for a while before muttering to herself, "Just now I really did hear a sound. Something's not right. There's actually a madman in this area. What are these security guards doing? Let's not talk about this. Hurry up and go to sleep. I still have to go to the company early in the morning. Recently, there has been some progress in the demolition, and I'm so busy that my feet don't even touch the ground. Tang Zheng, that little brat, is really godly. That fire phoenix actually listened to him." Shi Mengqin was still puzzled. "Don't look down on Tang Zheng. Before, I also thought that he wouldn't have any future prospects. But now that I've come into contact with him, I feel that I can't see through him." "How old is he?" 18 years old. 18 years old, and he already has this kind of strength. Think about it. What were you doing when you were 18 years old? Feng Chonggua's interest was aroused by the topic of Tang Zheng. He felt that there was a need to give his wife a serious warning in order to avoid the kind of conflict from before. "I was studying when I was 18. Right, he was also studying. But other than studying, he was also able to make this kind of big shot in the underworld deliberately try to rope him in. Moreover, think about it. His family simply couldn't give him any resources. Yet he has this kind of strength. Tell me, how much potential does he have?" Feng Chonghua analyzed. Shi Mengqin pondered for a moment and felt ashamed. This little brat is really strange. However, that girl Shusher seems to have steeled her heart to follow him. "Hey, this shows that our daughter's eyes are better than yours. Nowadays, there are so many men. To find one that is both pleasing and has strength is extremely difficult. Our daughter's eyes are good and her luck is also good. Hung, why do you make that little brat sound so good? Our daughter is also not bad. However, I still have to keep a close eye on them. Right now, the two of them are so passionate. If they do anything out of the ordinary, then Shusher will suffer a big loss." Shi Mengqin said with worry. Feng Chonghua nodded his head. This point indeed needs to be taken note of. However, you shouldn't interfere too much. Otherwise it will backfire. Although that girl Shusher's personality is weak, she is actually very stubborn. Once she has decided on something, even 10 horses won't be able to pull her back. Of course I know. She is just as stubborn as you. She is not like me at all. Shi Mengqin said with dissatisfaction. It's good that she is like me. If she was like you, then something big would happen. What did you say? Shi Mengqin stared with wide eyes. Okay, I won't say any more. Didn't you say you heard some movement? You go take a look. After you see, don't be so suspicious and quickly go to sleep. Feng Chonghua waved his hand and closed his eyes. Shi Mengqin coldly glared at her husband. Then, she put on a jacket and walked out. Looking around, she didn't find anything suspicious. Then, she walked to Feng Shishi's door. "Shisher, are you asleep yet?" The two people in the room were in the final stages of their sprint. However, they were frightened by this voice and suddenly stopped. The two people faced each other. Even in the darkness, they could feel the other person's strange and panicked expression. "Why did your mom come back?" Tang Zheng hugged Feng Shisher and said in a low voice. Feng Shisher hit his shoulder and said, "How would I know?" "Shisher, are you asleep?" Shi Mengqin asked from outside. "What should we do? If your mom sees us, it will be very awkward. Do you think I want to be seen? Relax, we won't talk. She will think that I am asleep and will naturally leave." Tang Zheng let out an O sound and slowed down his movements. Feng Shishir suppressed the feeling in her heart and patted his shoulder. Don't move. If you move again, my mom will find out. Didn't you say that the sound insulation in your house is very good? But my mom is at the door. No matter how good the sound insulation is, she will still hear a bit of movement. Feng Shishir was both embarrassed and anxious. She had always been an obedient and sensible girl. If her mother saw this scene, she really did not know how to face it. Tang Zheng also knew that the situation was serious and did not dare act rashly. Gotcha! Suddenly, the sound of the door lock twisting sounded. The two people were shocked and Feng Shishir said in shock, "Why didn't you lock the door?" "Just now, you didn't lock the door so I just opened it." "What should we do? If my mom saw, wouldn't we be dead for sure?" Feng Shishir was so anxious that her face turned red. "Didn't you say that your mom wouldn't come in? She normally doesn't enter my house without my permission." Feng Shishir was so anxious that she was about to cry. Shi Mengqin was a bit paranoid because of that madman, so when she heard that her daughter did not reply, she wanted to come in and take a look. "Hurry up and make a sound, stop your mother, otherwise she will come in." Tang Zheng quickly thought of something and hurriedly said. Feng Shishir did not have time to think and hurriedly shouted, "Mom, what's wrong?" "I was about to fall asleep." Her voice trembled because of her nervousness, but Shi Mengqin clearly did not hear it. The sound of the door opening finally stopped and Shi Mengqin said, "Oh, then hurry up and sleep. I just wanted to see if you were asleep." "Mom, I'm going to sleep. You should also rest early." "Then I'm going back to sleep." The two people let out a sigh of relief at the same time. They looked at each other and almost could not help but laugh. This kind of experience was too exciting. "It's all your fault. You almost made me lose face," Feng Shishir coquettishly said. "I also didn't know that your mom would come back." Tang Zheng felt very innocent. "Hurry up and lock the door. Don't wait for her to come back. That would be troublesome." Feng Shishir pointed at the door and warned. "Okay, I'll go lock the door." Tang Zheng hurriedly got off the bed and carefully locked the door before leaping towards the bed. "Be careful and hurry up. You were interrupted just now. So annoying." "Yeah, your mom really doesn't want me to have a good time. This will scare people into impotence. Let me touch it." Feng Shishir naughtily stretched out her hand. "How am I impotent? Hung, liar. I have such a beautiful girlfriend and yet I'm impotent. Then wouldn't it be too much of a loss for me? Let's continue." Tang Zheng leaped forward and the room rang out again. "Lower your voice. I suspect that just now it was your mom who heard something. Then slow down a bit." The two people in this kind of darkness felt both warm and a little worried. It was incomparably exciting and extremely erotic. It could be said that this was the most wonderful moment of life. But there were some people who were not so wonderful. Daoist Tianji was hiding in a corner, looking at the rows of villas and the dozens of police officers. Just now he had injured quite a few security guards. Adding on the fact that this was a villa district, the people who lived here were either rich or noble, so the police did not dare to be negligent. Without catching the real culprit, they did not dare to leave. They formed patrol teams in 2s and 3s to search the area, making it impossible for Daoist Tianji to get close. Daoist Tianji had never felt so vexed before. He was burned into a beggar by a little brat and was even chased by the police. This was really bad luck. But he did not intend to give up. Besides wanting to take revenge for his disciple, the more important reason was because of Tang Zheng's strange behavior. That exquisite sword technique and that strange true fire, he wanted to understand what was going on. He subconsciously felt that Tang Zheng's body must have a huge secret. If he knew this secret, then there would be great benefits. So, he definitely could not let Tang Zheng go. He did not even blink as he stared at the Tang Zheng who could appear at any time. The sky gradually turned white. Daoist Tianji had waited for an entire night but did not even see half of Tang Zheng's shadow. He could not help but feel disappointed and angry. "Even if I have to dig 3 feet into the ground, I will still find him." He clenched his teeth and fiercely said to himself, "Men, this madman is here. Quickly catch him." Suddenly, a policeman saw Daoist Tianji and hurriedly shouted. A large wave of policemen swarmed over. Chapter 140. Early in the morning, the air was fresh and the flowers were fragrant. Tang Zheng stretched and found that Feng Shishir was still sleeping. Her face was filled with a satisfied and happy smile, which was exceptionally beautiful. Last night, the two of them were very busy and only fell asleep in the middle of the night. Besides the last time they had intimate contact at Tang Zheng's new home, this was only the second time, so they didn't stop there. Instead, it was as fierce as a storm. Feng Shishir seemed to have adapted to him. She was immersed in this wonderful feeling and kept taking. Fortunately, Tang Zheng's stamina was strong enough. Of course, he completely conquered her, not only her heart, but also her body. Tang Zheng was used to waking up early. Although he slept very late and consumed a lot of energy, his body was different from ordinary people. He didn't feel uncomfortable at all. Instead, he was in high spirits. He also absorbed a lot of purine energy last night, so he wasn't in danger of exploding for a while. Feng Shishir's delicate face was flushed red, and her eyelashes suddenly blinked. Tang Zheng saw it and knew that she was already awake and was just pretending to be asleep, so he deliberately stretched his hand under the blanket and grabbed onto the softness that refreshed his heart. Her body trembled slightly. Although the two of them were very intimate, her body was still sensitive. Tang Zheng's gentle touch could make her heart tremble. Seeing that she was still pretending to be asleep, Tang Zheng simply increased the strength of his movements. Ah! Feng Shishir finally couldn't help but cry out softly. She opened her eyes and said coquettishly, "Doing bad things so early in the morning. You're asking for a beating." Last night, it seemed that someone liked my naughtiness very much and wanted me to be even naughtier. Tang Zheng's mouth slightly curved and said with a naughty smile. "Don't say it, don't say it." Feng Shishir hurriedly sat up and covered Tang Zheng's mouth. The quilt slipped down to her waist, and the alluring scenery of her upper body was exposed. Tang Zheng's claws were still on it. "You're exposed." Tang Zheng raised his eyebrows and joked. "Humph, I won't let you see." Feng Shishir grabbed the quilt and broke free from Tang Zheng's evil clutches, covering the seductive scene. "I looked at it for a long time last night. I already know what it looks like. I can imagine it even without looking. You bad egg." Feng Shishir's face was as red as a peach blossom. Her eyes looked like they were about to drip water. "Shishir, wake up and eat breakfast. I'll send you to school in a bit." Shi Mengqin called from outside the door. "Okay, Mom, I'll be down soon." "Quickly get up and put on your clothes," Feng Shishir urged. "Do you want me to help you put it on?" Tang Zheng volunteered. Feng Shishir glared at him and said, "I don't want it. You only know how to be naughty. You only know how to take off people's clothes." The two of them put on their clothes and washed up. When they walked to the door, Feng Shishir stopped and turned her head to look at Tang Zheng. She embarrassedly said, "What if my parents see you?" Tang Zheng shrugged his shoulders, not afraid in the slightest. "In any case, they will find out sooner or later. It is better to find out sooner rather than later. Moreover, in the future it will be convenient for us to be together openly." "Humph, I'll let you off easy." Feng Shishir wrinkled her nose, looking extremely cute. With a creak, the door opened. The two of them held hands and walked up the winding staircase to the dining room. In the dining room, Feng Chonghua and Shi Mengqin were originally talking when they suddenly raised their heads and saw this scene. They simultaneously stopped and stared dumbfoundedly at the two of them. A trace of shyness flashed across Feng Shishir's face, but she did not let go of Tang Zheng's hand. Instead, she gathered her courage and naturally walked over with Tang Zheng. "Uncle, Auntie, good morning." Tang Zheng discovered that his face was becoming thicker and thicker. He was not flustered in the slightest, as if nothing had happened. On the contrary, Feng Shishir bashfully lowered her head, not daring to look at her parents. Seeing her bashful appearance as experienced people, how could Feng Chonghua and Shi Mengqin not understand what had happened? They tacitly looked at each other and couldn't help but think of last night's topic. Didn't they plan on repeatedly reminding Feng Shishir about that kind of thing? But after only one night, it was already too late. Heavens! The two of them were about to collapse. This matter came too suddenly. Even the usually calm and collected Feng Chonghua's expression changed. Shi Mengqin glared at Feng Shishir and was about to flip out when Feng Chonghua saw that the situation was not good and hurriedly grabbed her hand. The matter had already happened, so flipping out would not help and would instead make the situation worse. It seems that his daughter had truly grown up. Feng Chonghua inwardly sighed. But last night when they went to sleep, Tang Zheng was clearly not in his home. How could he be standing in front of them now? However, this was not a problem for them as they automatically imagined Tang Zheng and Feng Shishir infiltrating their home. Shi Mengqin also suddenly remembered the strange sound she heard last night. It was definitely made by these two and she had almost opened the door and bumped into them. She was both a bit angry and a bit happy. After all, bumping into this kind of thing was too embarrassing. Shishir, come here and sit down. Shi Mengqin forcefully suppressed her anger and unhappily said. Feng Shishir obediently went over and sat down, pulling Tang Zheng to sit beside her. Feng Chonghua ordered the servants to add another set of chopsticks as his gaze fell on Tang Zheng's face. 4 pairs of eyes met. Seeing Feng Chonghua's complicated expression, Tang Zheng lightly coughed and calmly said, Uncle Feng, how are things going with the demolition? Feng Chonghua inwardly sighed. If it was him, he would definitely not be able to have such a calm and collected appearance. This Tang Zheng was truly not simple. But in this situation, he obviously could not give Tang Zheng too much face. Otherwise, he would not let this little brat take a mile after taking an inch. Therefore, Feng Chonghua did his best to make his expression serious and not appear angry as he solemnly said, The demolition has already begun. Boss Was company truly lives up to its name. That's good. Tang Zheng nodded his head and began to eat. Tang Zheng felt that he had to admire his own courage and determination. If it was before, he would definitely have a guilty conscience. But now that he had dealt with so many strange things, this situation did not make him feel guilty at all. Seeing the calm and collected Tang Zheng, Shi Mengqin fiercely glared at him. Then she pulled Feng Shishir, who had almost finished eating, and said, Follow me. Feng Shishir reluctantly looked at Tang Zheng. Seeing Tang Zheng's encouraging gaze, she slightly nodded her head and followed her mother into a room. Stand properly. Shi Mengqin crossed her arms and began to criticize. Feng Shishir pouted her lips and complained, Mom, what are you doing? I'm still eating breakfast. What are you eating? You still have the mood to eat? Look at what you've done. Shi Mengqin was unable to restrain her anger as she tried her best to control her voice so that it would not spread to the dining room. Feng Shishir took a deep breath. She had already anticipated her mother's anger, so she tried her best to speak in a calm tone. I know what I'm doing. I think you don't even know what you're doing? You're still students. How can you be like this? Shi Mengqin did not dare to use words that were too hurtful to her daughter. So what if we're students? We're already 18 years old and are already adults. If we were in the ancient times, we would already be married and have children. So what? Moreover, the two of us are truly in love. Moreover, didn't you guys not object before? Feng Shishir argued. We did not object, but we did not think that you guys would progress so quickly. Shi Mengqin was filled with regret. If she had known earlier, she would have strictly guarded against them. However, no matter how strictly she guarded against them, she could not have continued to follow them. It was even more impossible for her to not sleep at night and guard the door to prevent Tang Zheng, this flower thief. Moreover, there was no way to guard against this kind of thing. Seeing her daughter's determined appearance, Shi Mengqin was speechless and could only gnash her teeth in hatred. Feng Shishir saw that her mother's anger had subsided a little, and hurriedly held onto her hand. She said with a smile, Mom, I know you treat me well, but I also have my own feelings and my own decisions. I also know how to treat myself well, so you don't need to worry. Tang Zheng treats me very well. He treats you well now, but that does not guarantee that he will treat you well in the future. In the future, he will definitely treat me well. I understand him. She knew Tang Zheng's true secret, so she had the confidence to say these words. How long have you guys known each other and you dare to say that you understand him? 3 years. That's a long time, right? I remember that you and Dad only knew each other for 2 years before getting married. Feng Shishir mischievously said. Go to the side. I am talking about your problems. How did it involve me and your dad? Feng Shishir chuckled. I really envy you and my dad. In the future, we will definitely be a copy of you and be as happy as you too. Shi Mengqin opened her mouth but was speechless. She could not possibly say that she was not happy right now. This daughter of hers had truly grown up and was becoming more and more eloquent. She let out a long sigh and said, Sure, don't blame Mom for her bad attitude. I have seen too many ungrateful men, so this is all for your good. Feng Sure hurriedly nodded her head. I know Mom treats me well and I will always remember this in my heart. However, Tang Zheng is not that kind of ungrateful man. Moreover, he is very amazing. As she said this, her eyes lit up as her large eyes were filled with worship and love. Seeing this scene, how could she Meng Qin not understand her daughter's feelings? She was also a woman and had also walked through this age. Stop. Right now, I also do not feel that he is that amazing. Feng Sure stuck out her tongue and said in her heart, Mom, Tang Zheng is a cultivator and your daughter is also a cultivator. This is all because of him. However, I must first say that this will only happen once. If I see him come out of your room so early in the morning again, I will definitely kick him out. Shi Mengqin slightly compromised but still had a lot of resentment towards Tang Zheng. Feng Sure hurriedly promised, Relax, there will not be a next time. In her heart, she secretly said that she would at most have Tang Zheng jump out of the window before dawn. Since he was so strong, this would be a piece of cake. Tang Zheng and Feng Chonghua sat in the dining room. Tang Zheng did not say a word as he quietly ate his breakfast. Feng Chonghua, on the other hand, did not have much of an appetite. He even stopped his habit of eating breakfast while reading the newspaper. He stared straight at Tang Zheng as if he wanted him to say something. However, what kind of person was Tang Zheng? This kind of gaze did not have any killing power towards him. A moment later he put down his bowl and chopsticks and said, Uncle, I am full. You can slowly eat. Seeing that he was about to leave, Feng Chonghua could no longer sit still. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.